Welcome to Dr. Morse's YouTube channel. Have a question? Send it to questions@naturesbotanicalpharmacy.com. Visit us online, drmorsesherbalhealthclub.com.
Hello everyone. It is sure a big pleasure to spend time with all you dear blessed ones. I so appreciate each and every one of you and the tremendous work that I see you doing out there. Never said it was easy, but it's incredible, isn't it? A lot of you are having so many great out-of-body experiences and stuff. It's like cool stuff. I mean, you guys are really opening up and being the light everywhere in the world, and it's incredible to see everyone getting their healings and everything. I'm just so proud in each and every one of you. I've been kind of down for a week. I've been fasting and going through things, and so I'm just now getting to the point where I can get this. I'm so busy. I apologize for that because I know some of you are out there hurting and you need help. And you always have it here, whether it's through these videos or you call the club up and have some of the members help you there, because there's always going to be help for you. No one will ever turn anybody down here. You know, and don't ever think you're beyond that. Sometimes the lymph system and all the pain that system can afford when it's not filtering through your kidneys properly can make you feel like you're just on your last leg. So don't get too far down. Pull yourself out of that. Get yourself alone. Spend some time alone and hug yourself, not your physical body. You, that which is infinite, that which is always there, that doesn't go anywhere, no matter where you take your body or not. And spend some time and love yourselves, because you each are so beautiful that you just start loving yourselves. When the thyroid is down and the parathyroid is down, that's depression, remember? And that's also on the flip side, I don't love myself. I don't care about myself. And also you add that to the adrenals that are down. That's your emotions. And then you're weak in that field. People take advantage of you emotionally. You easy to adhere to another or things. Attachment is a good example, where we attach ourselves to other people. And you should never need anyone or anything other than you. You've got to get to that point if you want to survive the future here on this planet, because it will rip it from you. This is a huge, you've got two things going on here. You have spiritual growth and awakening, probably faster than you've seen on this planet before, but then you have the negative just keeping heels with it. And so it's just such a mess right now here. But if you kick back, it's for you to let go of your drama and step back and get to know who you are from a grander view. Because you should never, ever feel bad about yourselves. Each one of you are a vital vehicle for the Creator. That's why you were created. And each one of you feed that experience back to the Godhead. And it's just how God experiences itself in an infinite way. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. Those not so goods, though, they always lead to the good. Because in the final analysis, it's just creation. And creation is simply there for your experience and your dining pleasure. So that's why, tastes have gotten man into fixing desserts and making foods with spices and getting away from his natural diet. Man's mind just says, oh, look, we can add and we can add and we can add. Animals work more in the now. They work more intuitively, so they don't have that. But as you start to see more of the maturing of the mind, and they showed tremendous studies with primates and what they're able to do and perceive. And then the Homo sapien comes along with a far greater ability to create. Immaturely, though, spirituality and the mind must be hand in hand. If you promote the mind, then you lose yourself. And now you're playing with your mind. And it's just endless streams of thoughts, comparisons, analysis, and the like. It deals with knowledge, which knowledge is a piece of all that exists. You're already a part of all that exists. There is no gaining knowledge. We feel that there is at this level, but in the final analysis, you don't need that knowledge because you are the sum of all things. Hard to understand that when we tend to look more finite at ourselves and look at the world as finite. But it is in terms of creation. But that's the drama. Here today, gone tomorrow. Birth, life, and death. That whole cycle. So by stepping back away from that, step back away from your pain and suffering as much as you can, and try to not claim anything that you're going through. Let it all go. One part of getting well is letting the past go. In all ways, no matter what happened to you, no matter how bad it was, you have to let it go because it was there for you for a certain reason of awakening and building a strength within yourself. If we look at our past as things that hurt us and beat us up, we miss the point. But if you look at the past as ways that are strengthening you and that are awakening you and making you more aware, then you'll see why you went through everything you have. Because again, in the final analysis, experiences are experiences, no matter what it is, whether you were killed, strangled, tortured, whatever. Horrible in the now. And that's what rips me. That's my trap, is having so much compassion for those sort of levels. Because I know that we all experience that. You know, anyone that suffers, we all suffer. And man doesn't understand that yet. So it's just important to gain your more of yourself in consciousness as opposed to thought. Separate those two: awareness, intelligence, consciousness, as opposed to the thinking process. And it'll do you really, really well there. So I want to thank you. Got some beautiful gifts. This is Aura Light, like aura. Looks like just beautiful. It's Aura Light 23 for astral travels and things like this. Looks like amethyst. It looks like a little amethyst hooked to a little crystal. Good vibrations. And thanks for the tourmalines and things. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much for the cards. Beautiful cards, just beautiful. This is what I'm talking about. This is higher consciousness. Beautiful stuff. Thanks for the cards. I really appreciate that. Love how you did the eye. Love that. So I want to thank you all for that. When you're looking at crystals and gemstones, this is a good book because this come out of the, Zemeckis wrote this, Gifts of the Gemstone Guardians. And these are all about the beings that are responsible for overseeing these energies that flow into these worlds. And of course, in this world, these energies create crystals and gems. And each gem has a vibration, a frequency, and very helpful. These people had a nice course at one time. It was a beautiful course. And I used to teach it years ago. And when you have the right crystals or gems, you can really feel the power of those and the influence of those on yourself. But remember, these are external sources of energetics. Nothing is higher than you. Nothing. If you use external things to help, that's great. You can put crystals on you. You can do all kinds of neat things. And there's no question they're helpful for the respective bodies. But understand that as consciousness, you're beyond all these things. You don't need energy. You are pure energy. You're pure intelligence, pure awareness. And the only way you can get to understand that is what's going on in the levels of Be Here Now. Ram Dass started that years ago with that little book, Be Here Now. But the Eck Masters, a lot of this is where this message is for those that are awakening. Not all can understand that. And that's okay. But it's enough to say that understand your higher self. And I hate to say higher in that you're separating yourself from yourself, because you can't. There is no higher than you. You can't. If you always look to something outside of yourself, you'll never have joy or peace or happiness, because you're looking externally to something that is already here now. Nothing can be more than what you are. And that becomes more into God consciousness, meaning you absorb into the God state. And then you really understand who you really are. So, but thank you so much for those things. And look, we've got a a new DVD out on all the herbs. I've got it done. And I went through and did this DVD to show you why I created each formula and how to use them. I think it's $20. You get 2 DVDs, so I don't know if that's okay, but I had to charge that to get this paid back and everything. So enjoy those sort of things. I got some other friends that wrote a book, Temple Food. I'll show you that book when I get it. I've got it at home, and but there are another couple of Beckers that wrote a good book on things, and they got these food recipes and things from the Golden Wisdom Temples, and that's where you'll see a lot of information. There are these what we call Golden Wisdom Temples, and these are temples of unreal, and the awareness and knowledge and things that you get is amazing. I was in one once where it had this book on this podium type thing, and the light was coming in from the top, and it was just light. And when you entered that, you entered the light, and your knowledge and awareness just filled you. Amazing stuff out there, guys. There's just so many amazing journeys and fun things that you can have. I would say it's time to play for those that are spiritually minded outside of this realm a little bit, so you get used to that. You know, a lot of questions about the lymph system, which is excellent. You know, and I think I've showed you a picture that shows the connection of how the absorption of lipids and maybe even proteins are brought up to the liver from the small bowel. These old charts, you find them here and there, and somehow you don't see them anymore in modern physiology or in modern anatomy, which is interesting to me why you would leave out these sort of connections of how the lymph system absorbs. Still claim it in medical dictionaries, but don't show it in their charts, and that's troublesome. Another thing has been real fun, and Marcy has been doing a lot of investigation on, of course, mucus and cancers and stuff like this. And you know, Arnold Ehret was totally into the mucus diet healing system, realized that everything was mucus oriented. Well, if you took it a little further, you know, what system is the mucus coming from? Of course, that's the lymphatic system. And of course, mucus is a protection of the mucosa and is produced when foreign proteins or foreign chemistry that could affect the body is produced. And so this is interesting. This little thing is called Out of Control Mucus Shields Cancers from Treatment. And she's had another one I was going to read, but she's off today, I think, and I wanted to read that to you because they're trying to find a way to break down this mucus coating that's around the cells so they can use the chemobeta to destroy the cancer cells. Now, what does that tell you guys? When you talk about mucus coating around cells, what is that? That's the lymph system. It just ties and shows you and demonstrates to you that this is totally the lymphatic system that's involved, that you're always going to find mucus in the presence of protection of cells. Remember, HDLs, phospholipids in the cell wall. Your lymph system is a lipid-based system. Interstitial fluid, you can just call that the lymph fluids as well. That's protective. It would have to be protective, wouldn't it? Acids produced by the cells. I mean, you can change the diaper of a baby. If you don't, that urine and stool will burn back that baby's bottom, won't it? Absolutely, because they're acids. So how does the body do that inside when cells are doing the same thing? Cells are like little infants. They're discharging their waste outside of themselves. Well, where does that waste go to? Interstitial fluids. And this is, of course, acids. All things break down into acids. So now when that system isn't filtering through the kidneys, then we have systemic acidosis. We have interstitial acidosis. Therefore, you see interstitial cystitis, interstitial this, interstitial that. It's all interstitial. And if you look at tissue where you have cells, and then you have all these spaces in between them, that's interstitial. So you can see how much of a job it is, and how big of a job it is to get into the human body and get these kidneys filtering, first of all, and to get to these interstitial spaces that go all the way up into the brain and down to the feet, into all the organs and glands, because the body's made the same everywhere you go. So it's just understanding that. And these guys should, if the allopathic, particularly oncology, understood mucus and understood the lymph system, they would change their whole focus and their whole understanding of this whole thing, of how they're going to try to control out of control mucus shields cancers from treatment. But instead of saying cancers, what should they say? Cells. Damaged cells. Because when someone says the word cancer, the illusion cast that it is some kind of disease with its own consciousness, its own awareness, and that could be further from the truth. You know, there's simple chemistry involved in the human body. You got cells, you got two fluids, you got two sides of chemistry. How more simple could you ask for it? And the mind has made so much a complication out of it, we're killing people by the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, worldwide. Well, we know over 1 million in this country alone last year, allopathically, for a lack of understanding how the body is and how chemistry is. And there's nothing else you can say about it. And yet you guys are showing the opposite to the world. You're showing just the simplicity of this, why this is, what mucus is, what acids are, how they can damage a cell, how they cause inflammation, how they cause pain, and the mutation of the body, but how you can reverse that by reversing how you caused it. That's simple. Now, I know a lot of you are working on filtration. That's why I've said to you many times that you're going to go and do much greater things than we, because you guys, a lot of you are so young and your brains are going. I'm burnt out, fried in a way, but you guys can grab this and really, and that's why I love Marcia. She's got that brain that's like, wow, and she's just tearing it apart. And that's what we're trying to do, is put this together for the world even deeper, because there's so much that's left out that even we have a hard time explaining some things in that, because we're not involved in cadavers and tearing people apart. But we also know how systems work. So you just kind of, it's an interesting thing. And in research, we've got so many questions that should be asked. You know, when you're in research and you have certain questions, you tend to look with the mind, with those questions in mind, and that's what 60 Minutes was kind of demonstrating in double-blind studies. They didn't really say it in that way, but pretty much was saying that basically how you look at a given experiment dictates a lot of times the deduction or the outcome that you perceive it to be. And so there's so much of that preconceived notions and things that interrupt reality and truth. Anyway, let me get to your letter, and I appreciate it. Again, I always apologize, but you write some beautiful things. It's taken me a while to get to you all. Hi, Robert. My name is Carl from North Carolina. I love what you're... Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Please help me understand salt. I mean the good salt, sea salt, Celtic salt, and Himalayan salt. Is salt just a mineral carrier? If so, can we just get the same minerals from food? And if this is true, then is salt's only purpose is to hold water? Do you need any salt? This is a good questions. I'm in a confused place as to what salt is really needed for. How exactly does salt work? Well, Carl, I thought that was a really good question. You know, I have to say that chemists look at chemistry different. And I think we're all different, biochemists and chemists alike, and depends, I don't know, what field you're in the holistic or the natural field. I tend to look at things in an organic state being more compounded by nature, where chemistry is synergistically bound in ratios that buffer any of, say, like arsenic in there as a nutritive. It is buffered by the other chemistry, but at the level that you find it in foods, it can be a nutritive. Our problem in compounding these or isolating these then are much problematic. We talked about this. General table salt, sodium chloride. And these are more elementals. You know, when things become hard like dirt and stone, like demolished earth, things like this, shells, these are very inorganic compounds. Their electrical currents are weak. They're not readily absorbed through the gut wall. This is, remember we talked about that earlier about why there's chelation therapy and why we chelated minerals. We put amino acids wrapped around minerals for better absorption, because the body doesn't absorb elementals well because they become free radicals. And it's understanding, if you ever had kidney stones, what elemental calcium and certain elementals are like. And so the plant loves them. And so when the plant brings them in, it converts them to salts. But salts are all levels of salts. There's all types of salts. But salts are more synergistically bounded chemistry, transmutated out of the elementals for the plant. And then, of course, the plant then transmutates them as they become the fruit. So every level has its own uniqueness. So the fruit are the finest and the most electrical. As you move back to the plant, you become more elemental. And, of course, as you go down to the root system and the earth, then you become very elemental. I said this before, not too many people crave dirt. And salts are pretty much the same way. It's if you're going to use, those people that crave salt, you know that's sodium, you know that's the adrenal glands, right away. But when you're trying to use salt to get healthy, I disagree with that thinking. Now, we recommend Himalayan or Celtic or real salt. These are full-bodied salts with all the minerals, and even the trace minerals. So you've got a bodied salt with a huge amount of chemistry in them, as opposed to sea salt or table salt, where they add iodine and it's basically sodium chloride. Sea salt, same thing. And these are very elemental, not well used. You don't do well drinking seawater, do you? Nobody does well doing that. So why, you separate the water from the salt, then you take the salt? Doesn't make sense, does it? So it's just enough to say that the closer to the earth you eat, the worse it is for you. The vibrations are way off, too low, too hard. Biotransmutation, in other words, the absorption through the body, the transmutation is difficult. But as you get to the plant levels, you have more of a bonding synergistically of all the other chemistry, and it becomes more, in my opinion, organic, which is electrical. And then again, as you move toward the fruit or that which plants produce, then you have a much more refined chemistry and much more electrical even then. So that's why you see, another reason why you see so much benefit in eating the fruit of the plant as opposed to the plant. There are certain animals designed to consume the plant, but the plant is so fibrous to maintain its structure. It's like animal meat. You have to have, if you're really a true meat eater like a carnivore, your hydrochloric acid is pretty intense. It'll dissolve bone. We don't have, if you had varying pHs of hydrochloric acid, definitely a carnivore's is much hotter than, say, a human's hydrochloric acid. We have a minor hydrochloric acid, and we're trying to break down complex protein with that. And sometimes we don't do a very good job. Plants the same way. A lot of you are finding the difficulty in the digestion now of plants when your body gets used to digesting fruits. Because fruits are just like, here, I'm giving my love, my chemistry, my energy, I'm giving it all to you real easy. Vegetables are saying, you're going to have to do some work to get me. You're going to have to break me down. I'm going to take a while to digest, and that's why herbivores have extensively long digestive systems, and in most cases, multiple stomachs. We don't have such a thing. So when you start looking at all that, you start realizing that true chemistry that should be used by the human body exists more in the fruits and berries and the melons than in the plants, and even much more so than in the earths. So it's just a thing, we grind these things up and fine as we can, get the microns down, and they say, oh good, it's absorbable, but we forget that we're trying to absorb that which is not meant to be. And just because we can break this stuff and powder this stuff down doesn't change that one little bit. Matter of fact, could make it more of a problem, although it's been demonstrated, of course, that use of mineralized substances like this can stimulate and have some good effects. Nothing curative and nothing like what you guys are doing. You guys are sitting on the top of the mountain. There is no other top. Outside of that, you're off the planet. because there is no finer healing levels, except for maybe adding crystals and gems into you, but you have to be careful, you know. Years ago, they used to grind them up and ingest crystals, like rubies for circulation, things like that. Good question, though. But if you're going to do the salts, you want to do the more chemistry, the better. The more synergistically bound, the better. So you would want your real Himalayan or Celtic salts, because they're full-bodied. That's why they're grayish looking. They're full-bodied chemistry-wise, and even with trace minerals. But you get all that in plants. And so, I don't know. You know, you've had a lot of salt cravers out there, and again, the adrenals are down. And then people like to put salt on foods and stuff. I've never, ever been a salt person. When I read how bad that was, excuse me, and then overbalancing or unbalancing your chemistry, you know, because you got sodium-potassium balances. And when you do salts, particularly table salts and stuff, here you're loading up on the sodium side. And the potassium's in the cell. So you start loading up on the outside of the cell, the edema and all the other stuff. And that affects cell osmosis and things, and that then affects metabolism. And you can go on and on and on with that, down that road of intellectualism if you want. But it's enough to say that getting chemistry from the higher source, especially you spiritual people, are essential, because you just won't be polarized to earth anymore. You're polarized more to the heavens, and I think man needs more of that. And man is playing so inorganically, so eating animals and things, that his consciousness is pulled down to like that. And if you want to be more of a heavenly individual, more etheric, more love, more joy, more conscious, then you got to get away from eating foods that pull you down. Because you'll see it and you'll feel it. It's one thing to cheat once in a while like that. It's another thing then to make that your diet consistently. Hi, follow you on YouTube and watch your videos several times. Thanks. I need help. I have been on dialysis for over 6 years now. Here's another dialysis client. I mean, kidney failure guys are just everywhere. That's why it's so important to take care of these kidneys. I fight that myself. You know, I'm not above anybody. I am 37 years old, and I don't feel in my heart, body, and soul that I should get a kidney transplant. I don't want this for my life. I want to know what I need to do to start a new healthy life. I think if you're that advanced, and the name is Aisha, Isha, something like that. Pardon me for not being able to pronounce all the names. Again, old country boy. But it's enough to say I'm for no transplanting, regenerating, and the body will regenerate. But the body can't regenerate in acidic medium. And so, and on top of that, with 37-year-olds and younger, we have bigger time genetics than ever before in the kidneys. No one knew to work on the kidneys in the 60s and 70s. We just didn't. It wasn't ever even something you might have given a kidney for me, but the understanding of the need of that. And I would have not understand filtration, again, if I hadn't have been living in a Volkswagen van. And since there's no bathroom, you know, I would pee in a jar at night and then, you know, in the morning toss it. But I peed in a jar, I saw all this filtering and sediment, and I'm going, wow, man, look at all that. And then I became a game with me. How much did I get out today? You know, and it just became a game with me. I didn't equate it with we're not filtering. I assumed that's what everybody did. So when I got into practice, and then people said, well, I'm not filtering, and I saw these urinalysis coming back clear, I'm going, what? And so that really started me going, wait a minute, we got a problem here. And so just things like that, you know, kind of turn you on to things. But in dialysis, it isn't easy. I'll have to say that. Let me say that. Because the dialysis procedure alone is toxic as hell. So difficult a lot of times. When you go into a dialysis and you're still peeing, and then after a few dialysis treatments you stop peeing, that dialysis treatment was hurting you bad, because that's not good. So it's important that, first of all, that you move into a raw food diet. I don't care what you're on. The problems we face when we stop urinating is auto-intoxication, because now we're not even filtering the kidneys, so your creatinine keeps going up, of course, and then you start losing the kidneys themselves, and then, of course, you're not filtering the system. Of course, that all is going to back up in the blood, and so they only clean the blood, of course, because you can't clean interstitial fluid. I mean, that'd be the finding of the century. So that's, and of course, since the kidneys are shut down, you can't clean the lymph system. So blood is the only source that you have, while your lymph system keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Even through dialysis, just because you're cleaning the blood, your lymph system is dead, there's no help. So it just keeps getting worse that way. So total raw. I would use kidney glandulars for me in a situation where my kidneys are failing, and I would definitely get on at least 2 kidney formulas. I'd probably do 1 lymphatic formula to start. Now, if you're still peeing, and my own feeling, this would be what I do. If I'm learning things and I'm still peeing, I'd probably work my way out of dialysis and keep working on increasing urination. That means start moving into all raw and specifically fruits and berries. Melons might be a little too much water right now for someone on dialysis. I would probably stay with my fruits and my berries, subacid fruits to sweet fruits, and my berries. And initially, I'd probably add the salads, at least 1 a day, or a green drink. Too many liquids, again, with dialysis just means more dialysis time. And we want to do the opposite. At the same time, we got to rebuild those kidneys. No matter what they say, they tell you eat more protein. These guys are wackos from Wackoville. You know, that's the reason we lose the kidneys, are protein foods. So you come off of all proteins. That's essential, because you have plenty of amino acids in structured foods, and everything has a structure. So you have plenty of aminos, plenty of what you need, but astringents are better right now than trying to have aminos. You're already a built human. You got carriers and things. You got plenty of aminos in all these foods. And monkeys build up themselves from infants to apes on fruits. So I was just talking to Hildy there. She was in here having an appointment, doing unbelievable, ice changing to blue quicker and quicker. I mean, it's amazing what she's doing. But it's that sort of thing. She's starting to put muscle back on the same diet that was taking it off. And that's what I'm saying. When you see that, then you've round the bend to malabsorption. You're starting to see better absorption. The body's kicking itself down, slowing down detox, and heading more to also rebuilding itself. So good stuff. So when you're on dialysis and your potassium and phosphorus, I don't mind phosphorus binders, I guess, but potassium, medical doctors freak with that. But at the same time, I've never seen anybody symptomatic with higher phosphorus or potassium when they're on raw. Now, if you weren't on raw and you were on high proteins and your potassium levels were soaring, people they claim heart attacks and things like that. I don't know. It's enough to say, though, you're bringing in complete chemistry and magnetics from nature. So you're not deficient in any way, so there's a lot of buffering going on there. On one side, you could add some sodium if your potassium's too high and play that game. I don't know. I've done that before. But it's enough to say, if you're not peeing, you can't get off dialysis. That's the problem. You have to work to get yourself to start peeing again before you can get off dialysis, because you'll end right back and you might end yourself in a hospital. So you've got to work on yourself while you're doing dialysis. The goal is to get self-urination again and then filtration, because that's why you're losing the kidneys in the first place. Probably not too difficult to get the kidneys to start filtering themselves again. So very important. I don't know where your creatinine is, but the only way to bring that down, to start the breakdown of the kidneys, is the raw. It's the only way. Get away from proteins, get on the raw, and work yourself back out of this. And you can do this at 37. Dialysis, that's ridiculous, because it doesn't change the outcome, because you're only cleaning the blood, my friend. You're not dealing with the lymph system, which is constantly getting worse. So this is something you really want to work on. Anybody on dialysis wants to work their way off of that. That's no matter how long it takes, or no matter what it is. I mean, if it takes you 2 years, so what? You know, I mean, you're looking at a lifetime of hell for a few years of self-discipline. And when you get used to eating all the fruits, I mean, my God, I mean, there's nothing any better than the mangoes, and I mean, good ripe mangoes and good ripe watermelons and grapes and all the foods. There's nothing any better than that. I mean, they're powerful, they're strong, they make you feel good and light. And it's just all good stuff. No one should ever fear, my friend from Norway, the fruits. Hi, Dr. Morse. I really hope you can help me. My name is Sophie, and I live in Australia. Sophie, since about March last year, 2003, I have been dealing with a lot of health crises all of a sudden, and until had what you might call a breakdown of sorts. Well, this is the illusion that you ride with. You know, people can go along, and they've eaten bad, and they feel, you know, you don't see any symptoms with your neighbor, no, he's doing good, and suddenly he's diagnosed with cancer all through him. See, the illusion is that I don't feel that tumor growing in me right now. I don't feel those cells breaking down right now. But it just one day, bam, and that's it. Now you're very aware of a system in major trouble. You have tumors through you, and now someone diagnosed you with cancer or something, or fibromyalgia or something like that. You know, and that's the problem. One of the biggest instigators, of course, is allopathic thinking. Allopathic thinking is a suppressive type thinking. It is not an expectorative type thinking. Hopefully it'll move this way more and more. More of these good medical doctors are coming aboard. They're learning expectoration. They're learning the need, the simplicity of the lymph and acidosis. Because if you keep it simple, you'll get your patients well. You'll totally regenerate them and get them well. Got a medical doctor in Canada that's been proving that over and over and over again. You have plenty of them around the world that's playing this, and in California, and learning. If you take the simplistic approach, you keep yourself safe. You're not going to hurt anybody, so you don't have to worry about getting sued all the time. And you're going to get some hugs. Get some good hugs from people that you're healing, that you're rebuilding, because you kept it simple. You didn't get caught up in hypotheses and theories that have no real basis in truth. I have been dealing with a lot of health crises. All of a sudden, let me see, I went into hospital with a multitude of symptoms, not having slept at all for over 4 weeks. That's horrible. Generally, that's the pineal gland, you know. And what would irritate or inflame the pineal gland? Acids. And what system would call with the acids? The lymphatic system, of course. And of course, then you would start to have multiple symptoms, because now your head is inflamed and full of mucus and acids, like that. And of course, everything else is too. Everything up there. I went to hospital with multiple symptoms, not having slept for over 4 weeks, totally fatigued, chest, stomach, back, throat, and rib pains, shortness of breath, anxiety and panic attacks, and others. Whoo-hoo! Hit the adrenals, did you? Well, obviously your adrenals are way down. Shortness of breath, that's the autonomic nervous system. All the pains is all the lymph system that's backed up all the way up into the head. Oh, absolutely. I was diagnosed by my psychiatrist as having anxiety and depression. You know, here's another thing. Don't take these type of things in as if you're depressed and you have anxieties. You don't, but your bodies are leading you into that world and affecting you and pulling your consciousness down to that. There are tissues responsible for each one of these. What tissues are responsible for depression? Parathyroid. What tissues are responsible for anxieties? Adrenals. So now, this individual has got adrenals, thyroid, parathyroid, probably the thyroid as well. Here's pineal gland. Not so far to the pituitary here, so might want to look at height and look at other factors. Female menses, remember that. See if there's a pituitary problem. Take a picture of your eyes. But if you didn't even know those sort of things, and you just took this lady into the world of detox, you could get her back. Even if you didn't know all these things. He prescribed Ativan. Ativan, oh my God. That'll make a horse drool. And benzodiazepine, oh God, that's classic stuff. She's reduced it now, and Lexapro, that's common stuff, crap. You know, if you look at all these shootings we have in school, and the other night they were linked, almost every one of them had these type of antidepressants and anxiety medications involved in the students. Isn't that amazing? And yet no one's bringing that out. Couldn't be the medical side, couldn't be the antidepressant, couldn't be the pharmaceutical side that's causing the problems of these people going off into Never Never Land. No. Of course we have social issues, no question, but we have serious pharmaceutical problems. Serious stuff. It's now late April 2014, and I have been seeing many specialists, including herbalists, homeopaths, acupuncturists, and a chiropractor, psychiatrists, and psychologists. Holy crap, sweetheart, none of those can help you. Isn't that amazing? I'm a little disappointed that a homeopath or an herbalist and a chiropractor didn't. I finished your 3-month detox program about 5 weeks ago, and it brought out a lot of symptoms continuing still to today. My urine is quite yellow with some sediment and burns my outer female side, leaving it red and raw. Holy crap. Boy, did you check the pH of your urine, sweetheart? Because let me say that you're peeing some strong acids out of there. As a rule, if you have, one of the problems I get is that you probably have killed a lot of bacteria in your body, and now you're peeing straight 3 pH acids, because those can, deteriorate the vaginal wall. They're not good. So if you're feeling it that strong, holy crap. You know what? I'd probably do some bicarbonate, some sodium and bicarbonate, baking soda, aluminum free, and maybe do get that fast track alkalizer we have here, which I think it's a teaspoon per cup. But you might want to do some bicarbonate use just to kind of try to get some alkalizing going in your body, because not only are all these meds acidic, you're acidic. So now you're taking meds that are extremely acidic, and your acid on top of that, and it's just all having a fatal effect on you. And you can't come out of this unless you change the nature of what you're bringing in. If you can't change the nature of what you're bringing in, you can't change the outcome. It's that simple. That's why you need to go 100% raw right now. 100% raw. I don't care if it's all fruits. Right now, I probably wouldn't with you. I'd do all fruits, berries, melons, and salads right now. Maybe pop some green drinks. But get raw, because you need to get this opened up, or you're going to mutate your female side down there. This has been going on for about 2 to 3 months. My periods used to be extremely heavy and clotty, pituitary, right? But since the detox, are much less heavy with very light clotting. Listen, I've been fasting on watermelons. I got the last bunch of navels from California. And I've been pulling it out of me too, guys. I do have uterine fibroids, so in the uterine wall, you're very acidic, meaning your lymph's not moving. Ovarian cysts, same thing, you're popping cysts on the ovaries. As recent ultrasounds indicate, I eat about 50% raw fruit and vegetables these days, and often I don't crave any foods. I'm drinking 1 to 2 cups of Hillall tea a day. That is good, but I would probably get some baking soda since you're burning so fast right now. You're moving out some acids, and these meds are acidic. I am naughty, though, and still eat bread and animal protein. We don't want to do that no more, do we? Naughty, naughty girl. No. Tell that fish and that other stuff you're eating, I'll be back. I'll eat you later. Right now, I got to fix wall. Right? You want to fix yourself, sweetheart, because they'll hurt you. You want to set them to the side. Those are habitual type foods that we eat. Those are not nutritive of anything. They're more acidic. You're burning yourself even more. Not good. So I would really get away from all of the animal foods, of course. Definitely no dairy products and things. You're probably full of fungus, no question. So get on a Parasite M or whatever. Sometimes I have sweets, which has always been a weakness of mine. There you go, fungus. So you want to get on a detox, get the Parasite M. Stay on that for a couple of months, kind of get this fungus out of you. Shows that the adrenals are down. You're not, you're fermenting your foods. So you want to get your adrenals up. That's obvious because your anxieties. If you treat anxieties and depression, you can get yourself really strung way out there. And you're going to hurt yourself a lot. Even though this indulgence is much improved. Good. It's one thing to indulge a little chocolate. Even animals love chocolate. So, it's one thing. No one's going to be perfect. You don't expect that out of anybody. When you're detoxing, you do those things the very least. But the worst thing you can do and of course you won't detox appropriately is eating any proteins. And that includes seeds and nuts and beans and things. And of course, You just want to get away from breads and stuff like that. There's nothing healthy about grains. I mean, if you're starving in Africa, whole grains would be nice. I doubt if they even get whole grains, but you can create a whole bunch of other problems. We need raw foods worldwide. We need the farmers. Much of the time I lack any appetite, though, and I feel quite low and anxious. Well, your body's just saying, stop. Your body wants to fast and say, stop putting crap in me. That's what that is. Does it to all the animals. When you're not feeling good, the body goes, stop feeding me what you're feeding me. I need to clean myself. I am much better than previously, but want to become 100% healthy without the issues I currently endure. Anxiety, depression. Now, you got to get on something for the adrenals. I definitely get something on the parathyroid, sweetheart. That's when I would recommend a glandular, so you ought to get a little meat. But definitely for depression. When you're into these things, I would go a glandular over a pharmaceutical any day of the week and get the fungus out of you. That's just an exacerbator of these things. Sadness and no purpose in life. Well, because your glands are down. All your endos are down. Sounds like all your endos sound like they're down. From your pineal, you can't sleep, so you want to get on a pineal glandular, and if it was me, I would do about an hour or two before sleep. And start getting some sleep and rest. At the same time, trying to get a cold and flu going, drain your sinuses, pull all this mucus and acids out of your head, so all your glands go, oh, okay. So clean up your bowels, clean up your kidneys, get on these eliminative organs that clean from everywhere. Accompanying chest, back, neck, throat, and stomach pains and shortness of breath. You see all these things? It's systemic. So what's systemic in the body? Cells and fluids. That's systemic. So the two fluids, of course, that are systemic are the blood that feeds the cells and the lymph that cleans them. That's simple. Shortness of breath, that's a nervous system problem. But you would have, if the adrenals are down, your autonomic nervous system would be down. So you can also get in heart arrhythmias with this. And with what you have, you can get into what they call atrial fibrillation, AFib. You got to be real careful here. And, you haven't had anybody help you. And so I'm glad you're working our programs and getting better with this. But we need to get better and better and better. Move yourself to 100% raw, honey. And if you have to do some cook, make it veggies. Make it veggies, not meats or anything like that. And dairy products would be topside worse. Worst thing you could do. Reliance on medication with I dispense no end. Well, you'll get off of that, won't we? So you want to get the glandulars, get the adrenals up, get the thyroid out, and at the same time start titrating and get yourself free from that. Hemorrhoids, which erupt in pain. So, this is telling me parathyroid. So you're losing connective tissue integrity, vascular wall integrity. So that's why you got to get that parathyroid up to strengthen the vascular wall down there. And then your hemorrhoids will cease to exist. Every now and then it gets since childbirth 17 years ago. Wow. Chronic tonsillitis. So these are lymph nodes. So what system are you chronic in? Thank you. Thank you. L4, L5, disc herniations. This lady is a textbook for us, isn't she? She isn't into Facebook people, you beautiful souls. You. And by the way, Lucy, thank you. I love your comment. Thank you all for your love. All that just pumps me up in a world where I'm fighting out here like crazy on all levels. Thank you for your love. It is all received well, and my love back to you 100-fold. Lucy said something about know when to hold them, when to fold them, and when to run. I got a big laugh out of that one. That was funny. But L4, L5, what do we got going on here? What vertebrae is that linked to? Kidneys. So since kidney and adrenals are down, it's making everything else come down on her, isn't it? Heart palpitation. I'm not surprised. Not with a low calcium utilization from the parathyroid and low neurotransmitter production from the adrenals. No question you're going to get heart palpitations, shortness of breath, things like this. Not good stuff. Sore joints, that's all acidosis. Cold extremities, that means your thyroid is down along with your parathyroid. You got all your endos down. And what makes things go down? Acids and the lymph system. The lymph is just protection. It's the acid that's doing it. But your lymph system is, you just think of your lymph system as the body's sewer system. I was thinking about this. Don't get frustrated if it takes you a while to get into this system. Think of a huge lake that's lost its water inflow and outflow. So when things go stagnant like that, what grows on it? Algae, fungus. And then we collect it, sell it as a health food. Blue-green algae, things like this. And people wonder why I'm not into that sort of food. People bitch about fungus, but they'll eat algae. And it's like, oh. So if I'm starting to infuse fresh water and opening up an exit point, and I'm infusing fresh water in a lake, how long do you think it's going to take me to reinfuse that lake? Quite a while. So it's just going to take you a while to reinfuse your body with base chemistry. Oh, and that does remind me. Let me talk about this because someone asked me about alkaline urine. I'll get to that in a minute. I am also going through some painful emotional issues with my family. Well, your adrenals are down, and so all your experiences, some of these, especially with loved ones, could get emotional on you and rip you when it shouldn't rip you, okay? And so that's why I say, when you're this sick, sometimes you have to spiritually separate yourself from your bodies and get outside of that, no matter how much the body's suffering, and spend time consciously with yourself as opposed to with your bodies, even though you have to drag them with you. Separating from my husband and resentfulness from my 16-year-old daughter. I know, you know what? Love conquers everything, guys. So you just have to just give love and be truthful and let them know you're hurting. And it could affect the way you perceive your relationships and how you interact with your relationships. And you're a sick mom and you need to get well. And maybe the husband was making you even more sick. I don't know your situation. Some mates are energy suckers and some mates are beautiful souls that help you to energize yourself. You want a mate that gives you love and brings you up when you're sick, when you're down, gives you a hug and makes you feel better. Things like that. You don't want a mate that's always chewing and ratting on you. For not being as supportive a mother as I could be through these last 12 months. But what she doesn't understand, and I'm sure you understand this, Mom, is that she don't understand where you're at in pain. Here's the problem. She's going the same road. So you got to be careful. This 16-year-old daughter, I'd sit her down and have a conversation with her about your suffering and what's doing her. Let her view this video and let her know that she's walking down the same road and that she can get in trouble in half the time that you are. And that stop now and change yourself around. The daughter needs to look at her genetics and her lifestyle and change it. And Mom, you are doing it already. And there'll be a time, Mom, when you start getting yourself feeling better and better and better, you'll be able to have a better relationship with the outside world. Right now, you're hurting so bad that outside you're hurting too much inside. It's pulling you into yourself. But again, that's what it's for. Remember that. You have to love Mom first. Okay? And other issues. I see an herbalist, iridologist, who prescribes a tonic and various herbs and Bach flower remedies that are supposed to address the deficiencies. Well, flower essences doesn't address the deficiencies. And I wouldn't even think in terms of deficiencies. That's not going to get you anywhere. But the flower essence are energetically supporting the emotional bodies for sure. And there's all kinds of neat ones. Get Moonshine Jarl. It's not a Bach flower remedy, but it is a Running Fox Farm remedy. She's got a lot of better remedies than Bach does for emotional and spiritual and things like that. But at the same time, you got to dress these tissues in your body. You got to dress your adrenals. I'd at least dress my adrenals and parathyroid right off. Even though that I suspect your pituitary is wrecking everything down, and my guess is you got chronic bowels to kaboot. So, you just get in and start working that body, cleaning it out, rebuilding it, and things like that, because that's all you got to do. That's the only thing there is out there is what you guys are doing. Outside of that, you're going to go to these people that just treat you. Now, an herbalist is better because she's going to give you herbs and things. And herbs, even though an herbalist might treat your symptoms, those herbs know better. Those herbs are going to help you to clean your body aggressively and restore health of cells. So that's what you want to look at that. And if there's an iridologist, try to send me a picture in here and make note that I've talked to you over the YouTube and let me see your eyes here. Circulation, digestion, inflammation within nervous system, etc. In addition, I am restarting my yoga, meditation after a month, and try to keep a positive mind. Yeah, I know. You know what, Mom? You're hurting real bad, and it's a challenge for you. But that's why you're going through it. Because if you can stay in the now and spiritualize yourself, and no matter what pain or what's happening to you, that's a strong person. That's a strong soul. It's not easy to do because pain is pain. The mind races around, and I often can't calm down, because acids irritate the nervous system and make you hyperactive. And you might have been subjected to neurotoxins. Probably some of these meds are neurotoxic themselves. So it continues to irritate the nervous system, which causes irritation. It causes the mind to rattle on. Raw foods calms, cools, settles, relaxes. You need to be 100% raw, sweetheart. Thinking my health is becoming worse. Well, it is until you get it, but you're doing things, you're taking the right steps now, sweet. You're taking the right steps, and now I'm going to just take you deeper into the world of Wellville. Can you please provide any assistance to help me? You betcha. Get me off the meds without side effects. We have to titrate off of these things, but you got to work on your glands. You got to get on these glands and help you. So you probably need to set up an appointment with Marcy or something and let him set your feet on the pathway the right way, because and then you'll get yourself pulled right out of this. It's not going to be difficult from what you're saying here. I don't think it'll be difficult to pull yourself out of that. Depends how chronic your lymph system is and chronic your glands are and that sort of thing. With my best regard. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. This is Sophie from Australia. Sophie, get some help. Go to the Facebook site. I'm probably already there. Get some help with this. Get on the glandulars. You're going to have to be on some glandulars for a little while to pull yourself off the meds. But once you get your glands up, you'll be in a whole nother world. But get these acids out of your body. You got to get these kidneys filtering. It sounds like you're seeing a little bit of that. So guns blazing, all right? Full head, metal ahead. Get yourself going down that road. I'd shift to 100% raw, or at least 80, 90, and then the rest is just cooked vegetables or steamed vegetables. That way they're kind of a nowhere, no-brainer, no kind of food. They're not going to hurt you, but they're not going to help you. That sort of thing. Hello, I have a question. I'm a 23-year-old female, currently pescatarian, but I'm trying to eat as much, whatever that is, as much raw fruits and vegetables as I can. My breakfast always consists of raw fruits, and when I can, I also eat raw during lunch. So that's good. I want to go fully raw, yeah, but my family is worried. We have this young man I've told you about that the state of California wanted to kill real bad. The state of California has this compulsive need to kill children, because they subject them and force the parents, forcing them into chemo. And that's forcing them into death. There's no two ways about it. It's proved. It can be proven in chemistry. And I suggest all those people in child services in California sit down and hook up to some juice for a while. Do about 6 months of chemo. And then you come and talk to us again about how you're not forcing children to their deaths. So they're in court with this one young man, which is... Anyway, the lady said, he can't have any raw foods. You can't have any raw foods. That's an evil lady. These are people that are being vehicles for the negative forces, and you have to be careful because they're running our governments now. They're running our child services. These are evil people who do not understand, or who maybe do on another level, what they're doing to the people. Can't have raw foods? What animal cooks their foods? Only the Homo sapien. And it can be well demonstrated time and time and time again how raw rebels and heals and cooked destroys. Matter of fact, there's a raw food, and I should get him that as a raw food pediatrician in Miami. He would beg to differ. So who's this lady that telling the judge you can't have raw foods? That's the only thing keeping this young man alive. Makes me want to puke. Mostly because I'm already skinny. Well, here's the thing. Raw foods don't make you skinny. Overcooked foods. What are you thinking about? There's no nutrition in cooked foods. How can they make you have muscle on you? That's because when you go on raw foods, you immediately start detoxifying. So your body's going to focus on detoxification first, then it's going to rebuild you. That's what people don't get. They need to get with this. And if you get too skinny, you're malabsorbed. The only reason you're keeping on weight is probably your starches and your proteins, which is a synthetic weight. That's muscle that you'll lose right off because they're inferior in every way. You're packing the wrong way, and that's what people don't get. Eating raw foods don't make you worse. But they do start the detoxifying program, and then it'll turn around like Hildy is. It'll turn around and muscles will start coming on, but you got to fix why you would get skinny on raw foods. Why would you get skinny on raw foods when they have more nutrition, more energy than their counterpart cooked? Their counterpart cooked are dead. So how does dead food keep muscle on you over raw food, which puts muscle on you? Explain that. They impact you. They block absorption. You know, and then we pound our body full of these amino acids, which you'll put on some muscle with amino acids to pay the serious price of acidosis and kidney loss, and then you're going to lose them anyway. Not smart. I'm trying to gain weight, but I just don't gain weight that easy. That's because you're malabsorbed. And if you don't fix malabsorption, there's no gaining weight ever the right way, or muscles the right way. You can put fat on you. Just start eating a lot of starch. But if that's what you want, it creates acidosis, plugging of the bowel, the villi of the bowel, mucus forming is crazy. You know, people just don't get it. That's why I keep telling you guys how important you are to this world, but this is just another case. I've seen families ruin people's health because the individual was afraid of their family. You're the most important thing. Forget what your family thinks. These are just other souls in your life. And if you make those other souls priority over yourself, then you're going to succumb to that. And they're just unconscious souls. They don't know what they're saying. They have no clue. So, you're the one, and you're the one that has to stand tall and say, I'm doing this for the health of me, and learn how to explain it to them. It's not difficult to explain raw foods overcooked, guys. It's not difficult to explain what you're doing and why malabsorption and why skinniness. And that detoxing first is how the body cleans the reason you have malabsorption. So what's the biggest system you absorb into? The lymphatic system. And when your lymphatic system is backed up and you see it in iridology in the wall, you're going to have malabsorption. How are you going to fix that eating cooked food? You don't. You don't. So I'm taking it slow also for myself. You know, if you want to get yourself well, Eveline, hit it. Drive your car to Wellville, sweetheart. Next step is not eating fish anymore. The next step is nixing fish, nixing proteins, nixing dairy products. Get on your raw foods. Have a little steamed vegetables if you want to keep everybody happy. Have big salads if you want to. Go slow, but go. Don't go this slow. That's too slow. Get big salads and eat big, robust salads if you want. Who cares? Have salads twice a day with some steamed vegetables and your fruit in the morning. That's slow to me. But go, you gotta go, or you can't complain that you're suffering. That's all I gotta say. Now my question is in the following. I have myopia about 2.75 on my right eye and 3.50 on the left eye. I have glasses, but I only wear them when I really need them. Same with me, readers. Could I cure my myopia by eating a fully raw vegan diet? Absolutely. My eyes are getting better. Or has something to do with a weakness in my body? Well, you got to remember, you've got a nerve. You've got the optic nerves, which swing around here to the parasympathetic, back to the stomach. So you got neurological issues with this, and absolutely. But what weakens the nervous system? The adrenal glands, acidosis, weak adrenals, all right, low neurotransmitters, heavy congestion in the sinuses, acidosis. All of this warps, wobbles, wrinkled retinas I heard, all these things. And it can affect your vision and stigmatism and all these things like this. I love your educational videos. Thank you, sweetheart. I'm just kidding you. A little punch in the side because you need to get yourself going and claim yourself again, sweetheart. Claim your beingness, your happiness. And you know what you're doing and what you need to do to get well. Because suffering isn't fun. And they're not suffering. You are. And you don't want to let other people's opinions dominate you. That's why you're listening to the videos, to get strong in yourself. And that's what each and every one of you need to be, strong in yourself. Don't let anybody tear you down. Don't let anybody take advantage of you, because you're the most beautiful thing there is. And you enjoy that beauty. And you enjoy the experience of this world. Not going to enjoy it if you're eating cooked dead foods on the dead side of life. And that's where man's going. He's always hooking to the dead side of life. Refurbish, rebuild, regenerate. And that's what raw foods do. So go slow, 2 large salads a day, maybe some steamed vegetables, baked sweet potato, and a fruit breakfast to lunch. That's slow. That's slow. And then, when everybody's happy with you, kick it up another notch. Lizetta, Dr. Morse, what do you think about using milk thistle for detoxifying the body? I don't know about detoxifying the body. Great for the liver, no question. But I think as a single herb, it's okay. But when you mix it with some other barbarous families, you get to really do well. You know, burdock, Oregon grape, things like this, yellow dock. But I like milk thistle. You know what I mean? Do you use it in your formulas? Absolutely. I have heard it is a great for the liver. Absolutely. Detoxifying heavy metals. I don't know about detoxifying heavy metals out of the body, milk thistle, but I tell you, milk thistle is a good herb. I don't have any problems with using milk thistle. I love all the herbs, really, except for a few that can kick your hiney too much, but no, good. Yeah. A few friends of mine also reported eye color change using milk thistle. Now that I would be interested in. That would be cool, because what system would milk thistle be helping if that was the case? The lymphatic system. And that would be cool. I'd like to hear about that. Those guys have used it changing your eyes with just milk thistle. See, and that's the problem. That's, excuse me. Marcy and I were talking about this. The problem, we have so many questions that you need research. And the problem with questions about single herbs is that you would need to take someone just using this single herb and checking their growth and pattern. And the thing is, you would just diet changes. So it's hard to blame it on herbs when the diet's doing it too. See what I'm saying? You'd have to have a standard. And then add milk thistle on that and have the people on standard diets or whatever it is, even raw diets, but standard diets, and then see what the addition of milk thistle would do and check their stats all the time. It's a big deal to see if one herb is changing you. But on the other hand, when you're taking one herb, you could feel that. So, yeah, I'm definitely a milk thistle fan. Definitely. But I love them all. I mean, look at burdock. Burdock, I like burdock better than milk thistle, to be honest with you. Burdock, roots, seeds, everything, amazing leaves for burns, for the liver, for the blood, for tumors. I mean, my God, I'm surprised the FDA doesn't try to outlaw, come up with some stupid, idiotic thing about burdock. Oh yeah, we're doing pretty good. Hello, Dr. Morse. I am Alan, A-L-I-N. I wrote to you a couple of weeks ago about my condition, and I just wanted to say that I appreciate, thanks, man. Optimism and helping me to get well. I am a pretty spiritual person myself. Good lad. So please don't consider that if for some reason my health is compromised. I am not living a satisfying life. I am trying to make the best out of it as best as I can myself. Would it be nice if I could get some support from my own body as well? I know. But you know what? Some of us wake up to pretty bad bodies. You know, I'm so in Jermaine my eyes and what my genetics are and how I've changed my eyes from hazel to blue. But I still have my genetic lesions that I'm working out and stuff. And I haven't, in 40-some years, always been raw. I've been back and forth. I've tried to maintain 50 to 60% raw in my life. But there's times when I've been up to 90, 100, and there's times when I've been down to 50 and 60. I don't know what to say about that. You know, it's just what it is. And so, but it's helped me learn and grow out of that. And I suppose that's the reason why. But you do your best. You always do your best, but some of us wake up to bodies that are a little more problematic than others. And you just have to work out of it, work that body out of it, work that body out of it, work that body out of it. But keep that as your body, not who you are. You know, that's why good contemplation, meditation, learn to travel outside of your bodies, you know, and out-of-body experiences, and have fun in more grander schemes of things, and find your sukha in God and consciousness as opposed to into finite things like physical, emotional, and mental things. Hard to explain the difference. You can see why when you become more conscious, why there is emotions in mind and why all that is. I just have a lot of groundwork to cover at the moment. As you said, it's miles of stagnating lymph and trillions of cells to detoxify. And that's it. And you hit it right on the head, my friend. That just takes a while to do, but you know, it's doable. And you guys are doing it. I mean, you all give yourself a big hug and love today because you're all doing so great. Some of you have harder worlds to come back from than others. And we all should be compassionate to that, by the way, as healers. You always want to be compassionate because some of you guys have got some really good genes out there. You're getting yourselves well. And just know that everyone, you know, is just on this long road. and we're all here to help each other. No judgment needed. If you need help, we're here. If not, okay. You can't let yourself get beat up if someone won't do what you know they need to do, you know, to get well. You can't, you know, you just have to say, this is what I would do. This is what you can do to get well. This is what I found truth to be. And hopefully that soul will pick that up and use that. And you can help that soul, but don't get pulled into their drama because they'll pull you down as a healer. And you don't want to, like one guy came in here one day, had cancer, and something I can't remember, probably prostate or something, and he said, well, I'm going to put my life in your hands. And I said, oh, no, you're not. No. You're going to put your life in your own hands. I'll teach you why you have damaging your cells and what's causing that and how to reverse that. But I don't put your life in my hand. You put it in your own hands. And that's the problem. People are so used to say, here, doc, here, you take care of me. No, it don't work that way, obviously, right? Right. And some people have killed themselves doing that. A lot of people. It won't happen overnight, but it's a pleasurable experience. Yeah. And I don't mind at all. What really made me worried was this cyst/obstruction in my nose. So I remember. Yeah. But it is all lymphatic. It is. That's all a cyst is. It's all lymphatic. I'm lucky I didn't have more cysts or polyps up in the sinuses because I drink milk all the time. We were milking every meal type people, you know, farmer people. And, of course, it wasn't raw. At my age, we didn't get raw milk. So it was, you know, I didn't realize. Do I wish I would have realized. Man. But that it just has to come out. You need to drain your sinuses. So a good cold and flu-like symptom will really kick you up there another notch if you can. You can chew on horseradish root if you want, but you want to do very, very little bit. You don't want to overstimulate that. You can neti pot some Heal All tea, you know, and try to get some cleaning going on up there, some pulling on there. But it all has to drain lymphatically, you know. So the bowels have to really be cleaned up here, and the kidneys have to be filtering, man. Congestion, after all. Pretty straightforward to treat, isn't it? Now, it isn't the knowledge. And the problem is that I think some things take a while that people get frustrated and think there must be more to it. But there isn't. There isn't. We might find more tools to help us in the future. That might be true. But, and maybe even some electronics. But the reality is the reality of it. You know, it's not difficult to see the reality of life here. You have consumption and elimination in every level there is. That's life. Consumes and eliminates. Birth, life, death. All those cycles are reality for every creature, everything on this and every other planet in this physical universe. No matter what the beings look like on those planets. A bit more difficult for me because of the pain, I know. Sometimes it gives me. I know it, man. And it affects the breathing. You have to be a mouth breather. Absolutely. Because of the pain. Let's see. Coming in a little bit hard. Let's see. This is the boat I found myself in, so to say. And I need to adapt to the situation the best I can. Every one of us would or should do the same. Yeah, I agree with all that. Best wishes out. Oh, thanks. I will attach you a copy of the MRI scan when the congestion can be cleaned out. Oh, absolutely. I'll be liking that. Tested a couple of months ago. TSH is 0.91. Huh? That's real low TSH. So you have to look at the T3s and T4s, make sure you're getting enough T4s out of that, because if you're not, your pituitary's down. And you need to build that up. But if you have sinus up here, wouldn't your pituitary be down? Absolutely. So you might need to pop that pituitary up a little bit. You could use Trace Tree if you want to use the herbal side, or a pituitary glandular. Better be careful because all this congestion up here, you can grow pituitary tumors. You know, we don't like that. So, you know, you want to get that moved out of there. But that's low TSH for sure. So that could translate into the low T3s and then the low conversions to T4s. This might be because there's not a lot of oxygen going through my nose. Well, maybe. But that wouldn't be for the, oh yeah. No, you know what, man? You just got to, he circled his cyst right here so you can see that. That's just what it is, you know, more congestion, more swelling, more mucus. And it's like this, I'll read out of control mucus. Now, let me read you this because Marcia, you highlighted this when we see this up. This he says chronic use of this chemotherapy can produce heart problems in a subset of patients. But if you're dying of pancreatic cancer, you're not worried about the long-term effect. I mean, you just read this. Oh, I won't even go there. But you know, just keep pulling this out of you, man. Just keep pulling this out of you. I am not a mouth breather. Oh, not anymore. I used to. Yeah, I go back and forth. Depends how congested I get when I'm pulling. I've been pulling a lot of mucus out of me too. You know, I thought I got it all out at one time. It's like, holy crap, how much gets in you? Tons of it, tons of it. I had an old retired dentist once. He got buckets and buckets of mucus out, and he said, my God, where's all this stuff at in the body? And I said, interstitially. And that's where you swell, you know, and you get cysts and tumors. Absolutely. They don't come out of nowhere. Jesus, I can't believe sometimes the AMA where they get their shit. Pardon my French. Dr. Morris, I just wanted to send you this email. I said, thank you. Oh, wow. For everything that you are and for, oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Oh, Alan, oh, thank you. Same guy. Now, I am sorry if in my precious email I came across as too scared. No, you didn't. No, that was last week. And the GI, see, that's how old these things are. And the GI brooms didn't really kick in until the other day. Good. But in all honesty, I didn't let any of this get to me. It's all good. That's a good spiritual guy. I feel very fine in my own body, but it's not going to last for much longer if nothing more is being done. Yeah, kick it up. And I'll tell you this, another thing I do, Alan, is put yourself on a 10-day lemon juice fast. And get up there in the stronger astringents, lemons, grapefruits, things like that. You could do a 20-day grape fast followed with a 10-day lemon juice fast. I'd recommend that for you. And really start getting at that higher level. And then trip yourself into a few days water fast and let that pull. Because that's the quickest way to get the mucus out is water fasting. But in all fairness, you want to get the kidneys filtering. You want to get all this going. And then do that. So do a 20-day, 30-day grape fast, 10-day, or half that. I don't care. 10-day grape, 5-day lemon, and then maybe a day or two water. That's going to help pull that cyst out better. Once you get yourself running, now you got it on the run. But fix those kidneys. Get those kidneys filtering and all that other stuff out. This is Monica. Where's my fresh orange juice? I was in too big a hurry to get here. I've been so busy, and I know I'm behind, and I apologize with that. I know a lot of you are hurting here. Let's see here. In order to see the bigger picture of herbalism, what is the physics of botanicals upon the body? Holy crap, man. Every one of them is going to have a different. Physics is electromagnetic energies. From a spiritual viewpoint, it's different levels of consciousness. So each chemical in and of it, each element has its own state of consciousness. Grouped together, then you have a grander state of consciousness, and then grouped together as even more. So when you have these elements and everything synergistically bonded into a unit, then you have a certain consciousness of that plant. And then, of course, from the mind, that plant has been perceived and conceived as having an individuality to it. It has a certain effect to it. And you could, I guess, I got some good books here on chemistry of plants. You could tear that up, try to figure out, this would be a lot of mental work. But you could, look at this and tear into this. It'd take you a while, figure out, like alkaloids, specific alkaloids, and the effects of different tissues and the magnetics of that, and maybe the consciousness of that. But each plant, and again, each plant has such a varied power on the body. Each plant can do 10 different things to you. physically. So you have all levels of physics or magnetic energies that can impact different tissues at different levels. So here you got, at a certain level, you have a cell which is consciousness, which is losing its consciousness, being pulled down by the mind and emotions, being pulled down into the physical with the acids, and pulling its magnetics down, pulling its consciousness down. You're infusing it with consciousness of a higher order, which is infusing, because that has a specific action, a specific magnetic action to that cell. That cell's going to pull its awareness up because of that infusion of that consciousness of that specific herb. And the glandulars work similarly. And this is specific. It's been radioisotoped to show you that specific large chunks of chemistry do get to cells. So it's all, from one level it's about consciousness, remember? From another level, consciousness becomes frequencies of energy or states of consciousness, hence physics. And then physics, of course, translates into chemistry. I've always said chemists should always have physics in the background to expand their awareness of chemistry. And then physicists need to have a little chemistry to understand, of course, the downside of isolated physics or frequencies of electromagnetic energy. But to figure all that out, good friggin' luck. All we know is that we found that certain herbs are good for certain tissues. But you could make a science out of it and really tear into it. But I would never want to put my mind through that ever again. I've done that so much with the lymph and all this to get you to where we are now. And I'm tired of using my mind. I want the peace of the allness of God. I've heard some natural hygienists say that they innervate and stimulate and suppress detoxification. Yeah, well, that was the downfall of natural hygiene, my opinion. Is that they claim that in their body, and they're full of crap. I've used the herbs for 43 years and seen totally the opposite. Plus, they're vegetables, most of them. And we use a little barks and things like that, so what? That's just a little more dense chemistry. Everybody's eating Timotheus earth and all this other kind of stuff. So, excuse me, a few roots and barks, excuse me. It's all energetic, it's all chemistry. But as far as being toxic and stops detoxification, I've never seen a natural hygienist detoxify worth of crap anyway in natural hygiene. I mean, water fasting, okay, but not on a natural hygienic diet. That's fruits and that's more vegetables than fruits even. So I am very familiar with natural hygiene. We had a Natural Hygienic Institute down here, and I lived there. Shangri-La, Bonita Springs, very familiar. But that's the one side of it they're very wrong in. And sorry, but that's why they're kind of fading away. I want to clarify as I wonder how a person genetically compromised and toxic will sooner regenerate on botanicals than on water fasting or other fruits alone. Well, I like all three, to be honest with you. I don't just use herbs to detoxify people and don't recommend it. Because people have used just the herbs with a kind of a 50-50 diet and got pretty good improvement, but never like the foods and the fasting. For me, fruit and berries and melons are top of the list in diet chains for Homo sapiens. Fasting is something you do if you want to dig into the body and detoxify stronger. Absolutely. They sit at the top to me. Botanicals sit on the third side down. With those, you can accelerate all those processes. There's herbs that'll pull tumors out of you where you could be fasting till hell freezes over to get them out. So they're just our friends to help us accelerate these processes, not to inhibit these processes. Plants don't inhibit nothing, guys. Pharmaceuticals do. So I was always amazed that natural hygiene took that approach. And, of course, I adamantly disagree with them. And again, look at the natural hygienists. Look at T.C. Fry, Bragg. These guys died extremely obese, extremely out of shape. I've been to a lot of natural hygienic dinners. I mean, I'm very familiar with that stuff. But I think you're misinterpreting our using herbs as an exclusive for detoxifying. I think you're misinterpreting that. There's a debate going on out there about herbs, but I feel there are many levels to health which need to value botanicals. Listen, these are the blessings and the tools. Even nature uses them, guys. These are our little blessings to help us through these. Do you live on them? Hell no. Nobody lives on herbs. You should live on fruits and berries and melons. But vegetables are herbs, if you didn't know. All vegetables are considered herbs. So when you sit there and say herbs are bad, you're kicking vegetables. Of course, I do kick vegetables a little bit. But vegetables are hybrid herbs. Now, there are herbs that are roots, but then we have vegetables that are roots, right? Tubers, right? Okay, so the debate should be ended. What indeed are the actions of herbs upon the body, though? Just for clarification, in a bird's eye view way, even examples of case studies would be welcome. Monica, examples of case studies, sweetheart. You get on Facebook, you'll see lots of studies, case studies. We're loaded with them. Tens of thousands of case studies worldwide, sweetheart. Just get on Facebook and ask people how they're doing, how they've been doing. Try them yourself. Don't be afraid, honey. It won't hurt you. Jump in. Enjoy the herbs. You know, they won't hurt you. If you want to know how something is, wear the robe. Ride the bull. Don't sit there and listen to other people's opinions who know nothing about them. You know, if you're not an herbalist and you claim to know about herbs, it's like asking a medical doctor about herbs. That's like asking natural hygienic people about herbs. They don't use them. So they're just opinionated. And opinions can get you, I can buy an opinion for a penny. Opinions are worthless. And some opinions will take you to hell, Bill. So be careful what you believe in. Look at what nature does. And God created them. And that China's been using botanicals in India for how many years? 5,000? Oh, it's going on 6,000 years? I'm not talking about bears, paws, gallbladders, and the like. I'm talking about botanicals. So I think you're really unwarranted in your thinking, and I think that people that want to have that debate can debate all they want. For those of you that want to get well, forget the debates, jump in. The water's fine. There's been thousands and thousands and thousands of people before you. I've had well over 150,000 people on herbs. Plenty of case studies, plenty all over the place. Our files are full of them, and the Facebook is full of people that are doing these herbs worldwide. So talk to them, my dear. But I would say try them on yourself, and then you'll know. Hey, Doc, I hope you're well. Thanks for all your... Oh, yeah, I'm well. Past the kidney stone, though. I was growing up on my diet of high protein and milks. Gave me a lot of kidney stones in there, embedded in the mucosa. And as you detox, you know, you pull them out. So it's never fun to pull out stones. I have many questions here, most about fruitarianism, because I want to jump into that car and need your advice for this. You mean that's a Ferrari, baby. You like Ferraris, huh? Some practitioners are saying that vegetables, at least vegetable juices, cannot be overlooked in detoxification because they will bring lots of minerals, ions, and hydration to the body. Fruits do all that better. Except for minerals, fruits are not heavily mineralized like vegetables, but minerals are not the highest order on the chain of nutrients. Sorry. Foods are so much full. People are stuck with these ions. There's plenty of ions in fruits. I mean, that you've got alkaline chemistry out the butt. But what the vegetables don't have are the astringents that the fruits have. They don't have the refined chemistry of the fruits. Like the vegetables are more coarse, more for herbivores. I don't see how people can argue on vegetables when animals that eat vegetables totally don't look like us in any way, shape, or form. And yet everybody's arguing on eating vegetables, yet the species that are closest to us are not vegetable eaters. You can argue the mountain gorillas are forced to eat the greens. Yeah, you can argue that one. But I can guarantee you that if you gave them a fruit grove or a vegetable grove, they're going to go over to the fruit grove. And the orangutans are mostly frugivores. They're unbelievable. Stronger. The babies are so strong. They just, I've seen a lot of specials with those guys. And nothing that you just said here doesn't fit fruits, berries even more or better to the body. A lot more than the fruits, they say. Well, then they haven't lived in fruits and lived in these higher levels. They have not done that. I love these people that give opinions on things they've never done. They read or someone else gave an opinion, and that's like following the herd. We have a herd mentality here. Someone says drink half your body weight in water and grabs or whatever, and everybody goes out and does that and kills half the people. This is all ridiculous stuff. Or people say eat 60 bananas a day, you need the calories. That's all insane stuff. It's just crap and theories and ideas that people have. Start living the do. Do the do. Live it yourself. Get away from opinions. Strap it on. Fruits never killed anybody. Enjoy the fruits. I don't know why anybody ever thought fruits. That's just the negative forces keeping you away from a higher level of experiencing health and vitality. And a lot of you that are seeing that can't go back to vegetables because they're way too coarse. So for you that are you the naysayers that talk about this, get yourself up on a fruit diet. Not going to kill you. Get yourself way up there and then try to go back. Experiment for yourself. You become the living truth instead of a book or somebody else saying this that has no brain power. Okay? I see this all the time on this planet. And it's keeping this planet low because people are using their mind too much. And they got the herd mentality here, the social consciousness. Break away from that. It can pull you and suck you into misinformation. For those of you that are on the YouTube, are on the Facebook and all that, know so much better than this crap. And if you fall into these, and some of you are new to this, you're going to fall into these things, and don't do that. That's someone else sucking you into their negativity and their opinions that have never experienced the levels that you're experiencing now, because they've never done it. So don't be pulled in because you'll lose your health. And that's what you're talking about herbs here. Herbs and vegetables, same thing, guys, same thing. You know, that herbs are non-hybrids. And herbs are everything. Everything produced and made by nature has a specific reason and a specific vibration and frequency, like the gentleman asked me about the physics of things. There is a book Hannon wrote about the specifics of vegetables and nuts and seeds and things like that. I thought he did a pretty good job with those books. And berries, you know, and getting a little more into vibrations and what they're for in the body and stuff like that. But don't be pulled down, because there's a lot of negative people out there that just want to pull people down. And you know what? Don't be a part of that. Ride the bull. Wear the robe. Jump on the bull and ride it. Then you can talk from experience. But don't sit there and take fruit for one day and then have an opinion on it. I see that sometimes, you know. Hydration to the body. A lot more than the fruits, they say. There's no way that vegetables hydrate faster than fruits. They don't know the body and the chemistry of the body or anything. They don't know what they're talking about. And will help the dried lymph and mucus to hydrate and loosen faster than fruits. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. That literally is the most insane thing I've ever heard. Not on your life. Your fruits are the fastest hydrators you have to the human body, and the only way to move lymph, because they have the astringents. Vegetables are very slow. I'll tell you what. Since you're asking me this question, I'm going to pull this back in your face. I want you to give me a 20-day green drink fast. I don't care. And salads. You have salads and green drinks, 20 days. Then I want you to do a 20-day grape fast. Dark, black, or red grapes. Tell me the difference you experience. And then see if you write and tell me the same thing that you're saying right here. Okay? Do you think that we can be fruitarians on a long term? I don't know. I don't know, because the consciousness isn't there, the food isn't there. I mean, you got to realize that there's fruit and that there's fruit. Most of the judgment of people on fruit are those in northern climates. You don't have those kind of judgments in Costa Rica and Thailand and things like this, because the people are beaming in health from eating these fruits. Now, granted, these countries also have people that are eating all the meats and the cooked foods too. No question about that. But it's not to say that you don't hear complaints about fruits being bad if you live in the tropics. You do in the northern climates. Why? Look at the fruit we have to deal with in the northern climates. We're all now hunter-gatherers or whatever. We're trying to find good food because the food just isn't good. They're not picked ripe. And so it's hard to make judgment calls if you've never had good ripe fruit. If you had, you wouldn't be asking this. I think it's possible if you were living in the tropics to become a frugivore and you didn't have a lot of responsibility and things like that. But if you're kicking it and you have all levels of responsibility and everything, you're going to be pulled in a lot of directions magnetically. Probably going to end up having some balance with salads, lower vibrationally. And that's another thing. They're saying these things, frequency-wise, vegetables are much low-frequency foods than fruits. So there's another level in physics. Vegetables are much lower of a food, and we're much higher of a species. So it's like ridiculous, because these things are just ridiculous. They're not true at all. This hydration and things like that, I don't think that's not true at all. That's not true one little bit. And then the ease of digestion in our digestive systems, the difference between the Homo sapien digestive tract and a herbivore digestive tract, all these things have to be considered. And when you look at the whole picture, these are not the conclusions you come up with. But in terms of someone being long-term fruitarian, I couldn't. Living alone out in the woods, absolutely. Didn't have a problem one. But in society, high-level responsibility, tons of stress like nobody's business, tough, because all that sucks you of energy, and then low energy, you're polarized to low energy foods. Isn't that funny? You're not polarized to high energy foods when you're down. That's the problem. It takes self-discipline to pull yourself up out of this. So the more you associate with low energy foods, low energy people, the more you're going to lose your energy and health. We're frugivores. We're designed that way, and no one can argue the difference. They might try, but they're baseless arguments. Baseless. And the problem is, we have years of clinicals to show you the difference. You can argue any point you want. The difference is, how do you take a human from Hellville to Wellville? And they're not doing it. These opinionated people don't get people well at all. Look at how many people have been to naturopath after naturopath after naturopath. Failure after failure after failure. You should never go to one naturopath in your life and you're in Wellville. That naturopath should have the ability to bring you to Wellville, and they don't have it because they're not being trained that way. They're being trained with this kind of crap that eat vegetables and high-protein diets. Sorry, naturopaths, you're going to lose your clientele. They're all coming around here because they have nowhere else to go anymore. They're going to the people that are at our level. You need to come up to our levels. That's all I can say. Believe it or not. I've seen people in the fruitarian community saying that eating vegetable fruits like avocado, tomatoes, cucumbers, pumpkins, etc. is necessary. Well, I think that's good. I ultimately think that's good as well, particularly if you're not getting tropical fruit ripe off a tree. I would have to agree. I see nothing wrong with avocados, tomatoes. Anything that a plant or tree bears is considered a fruit. Nuts, iffy because of the high protein contents, but still, you could almost consider them a fruit at one level. But definitely be cautioned with too much of that. But, I eat a lot of cucumbers and avocados. And I use cucumbers to dip my guacamole in. That's my chip, is cucumbers. Pumpkins, I don't know about pumpkins. A little starchy. I don't know about pumpkins as a fruit. How can you be sure of the benefits if you haven't been in long term? By the way, why aren't monkeys pure fruitarians? Some are. Depends where they live. That's the problem is our location, where we are, and what we have access to. I saw a primate family that's on this one island. They've got hardly any food, so they have to go to shellfish because they don't go under the food. They prefer the fruits, but they don't have any other food, so they have to, and that's the way it is. This planet isn't a fruit planet, only in certain areas. So then what was tropical is now not tropical, and that sort of thing. The earth shifts and everything. Look at Ethiopia. That was tropical at one time. Now it's a desert, basically. So it's that sort of problem that we're facing, is the planet and the different geographical locations of where you're living as a human. But if you go back and you look in the olden days before there was any type of real medicinos and things to help people in terms of suppressing and trying to, carry them over. People died early in high-protein diets. Eskimos didn't live much over 40-some years old. You saw this all around. You'd be ancient probably at 60 and looked at. It's just, you find your longevity in places. The human body is definitely resilient. I'm surprised man is able to be where he's at the level he's at. Now that we've used pharmaceuticals to suppress and antibodies to kill bacteria and all these things, we're so much worse it's not even funny. And this argument that we're living longer is just bullshit argument. If you read the obits, you'll find a whole different thing. If you work nurses working in hospitals, and if you've been a nurse for like, say, 30, 40 years, you know better. Look at the cardiac wards, the age limits now on the cardiac wards and the cancer wards. Look at the differences now as opposed to even 20 years ago. The age groups now that are visiting these wards. I spent years in hospitals, I can tell you, and I went through 3 hospitals. So I saw that in all 3 hospitals. So I think that's enough to show me what's going on. So we're not living longer, and the babies are being killed rapidly. And now that they're using chemo on these kids, the death in the children are just unreal. And that never was when I was growing up. So it's just, you don't buy into all this propaganda and stuff like that. But there's no question, primates, and I say like the mountain gorillas, I feel sorry for them, I really do. But they have to find the tender greens, whatever they find that's sweet. You give them some sugar cane, you give them some bananas, baby, and you've got mountain gorillas coming down to the tropics. It's just the way it is. We're clearing the lands in the low, pushing them further and further up in the mountains. When you ask these questions, expand your consciousness and take a broader look. and understand more of how things are, and the locations of things, and accessibility to foods. If a primate has an accessibility to fruits, they're frugivores. When they don't, they do their best. Same way with humans. Except we are so addicted and so confused now. We've lost our intuitiveness because we've lost our spirituality. We've used the mind so much that we have these kind of questions. Excuse me. Now get out of there. In theory, I mean, these are all just ridiculous theories that hold no water in truth. Do this. Get about 20 kids from the ages, say, 5 to 10. Get yourself 2 tables, one fixed with all kinds of vegetables, the other fixed up with all kinds of beautiful colored fruit. And you tell those children to go eat off the table that you like the best. Tell me, which table is getting the most attention? It's not the vegetable table. And these kids work more intuitively until they're so brainwashed that they don't know. So, I mean, these are kind of ridiculous questions. I've read that monkeys don't eat oranges. What can you tell on that? I don't know. I've never seen a monkey eat oranges, nor had access to orange trees. I don't know if oranges grow around where monkeys are orangutans, primates, because they're all level of primates. You have your lower primate consciousness and you have your higher levels. Now these chimpanzees, remember that group of chimpanzees that hurricane broke this lab apart, and all these chimpanzees? There's actually chimpanzees now that are cannibals. Now, they've done studies with cannibals. Saw a whole study done by National Geographic on cannibals. Not a good picture of what happens to their health. Matter of fact, the women and children get the meat. Actually, the men in these cannibals actually get boar meat because it makes women febrile. It destroys them. I mean, there's studies done on this. And yet these chimpanzees are killing each other and eating each other. That's aberration. That's mutation. And man is getting aberrated and mutated just by the chemicals he's ingesting. It's a sick world, guys. Sick world. How much regeneration is possible, and have you seen? Is it possible for a person with trisomy 21, I don't know what that is, to see his genes change over the course of a life if he goes 100% fruitarian with plants, mono-eating, juice fast and fasting? Our bred plants needs around 3 generations to regenerate. No, you know what? I've seen a lot of tissue regenerate genetically, and you can see that in the iris. When you see the healing lines, you can see these genetic lesions regenerate. We've seen old weaknesses regenerate in people. Not in lifetimes. Not lifetimes at all. We see it within years. I've seen regeneration. I saw a 95-year-old man come in here. He was supposed to go to dialysis. And on Wednesday, he was in on a Monday morning. And he didn't want to go. And I took a picture of his eyes, and he did have a big lesion in the right kidney. I still remember the right kidney. And I told him, I said, well, his creatinine wasn't bad. I said, you don't have to go. I said, you just get yourself on all raw and pull yourself out of this. And so I used the herbs, got him on the raw, got him on the fruits. And I told you about that. The picture got real cloudy on his right eye. I could still see the lesion and everything. But I wanted a clearer picture. And I didn't get to him for 1 month and 3 days. Now, this guy had major strong constitution. This is how you see why strong constitution people regenerate so much faster. Oh, my God. And so he, in 1 month and 3 days, started seeing healing lines in his kidneys. He never did go to dialysis. I had a friend that was a fruitarian with me. His genes were just so strong. He was regenerating his teeth enamel. I never could do that. He was. So there's a lot of variances, man. And life isn't perfect. What are you talking about? But there is regeneration totally. And if you don't live in that world and believe in that world, I feel sorry for you because you'll never get yourself well. And I think enough of these questions that you're asking, I think you ought to just put yourself on the program and try it. Really try that. Do a vegetable diet for all raw, but do a vegetable diet, all vegetables for a month, and then do all fruit for a month. I'll do the vegetables first, though, and then I would do the fruit for a month. Get your good fruit, go up that way. Can you tell what's the most powerful for detox? Always. You're asking me questions. This is why we teach this, man, because this is just what I've seen in all the years I've done this. Believe it or not, I don't care. This is all free to you guys. I don't care. Raw food diet with herbs, fruitarian alone, fruitarianism with herbs. Any of these things are great. Any of these things are great. Anything. I like to start out, someone that's really toxic, I like to start out with a salad at night, fruit all day long, and the herbs. Then I like to get rid of the vegetables. Now, some people are so toxic that they have to do 2 vegetable meals a day and 1 fruit. And I remember Babe, she couldn't hardly do any fruits initially because her lymph system was so bad that she would immediately have problems, so she had to go to vegetables for so long. And I think that everybody's a different case. But for me, if you want to start getting well, then you're going to move yourself to 100% raw. That's number 1. Huge magnetic difference. If you've never done that, then get rid of everything cooked. Do 100% raw. And then do 100% raw for 1 month. And then just add a cooked meal in there and see the difference. You're going to see the difference. I don't have to tell you. Experiment on yourselves, man. So then do a salad at night and fruit all day long. And then get rid of the salad after about a month or 2. And do fruit all day long. And at night too. Then do mono fruit. Just go to a mono fruit and see how you feel. And then get rid of the mono fruit and do water fasting and see how you feel. You'll see a difference at every level. Each one of these levels you're talking about, to me, are more powerful than the other one. For an example, fruitarianism, pretty powerful. But for most, they can't do that right off because, 1, their consciousness can't handle that level of energy. 2, they're so toxic to a lot of people, it's hard to do that. Powerful program, all raw. Just that's powerful. But then all fruit, that's even more powerful. It's more magnetics, so you could do that. Fruitarian with herbs, that'd be cool. Mono eating, absolutely mono eating. I enjoyed mono eating. I did. But now I enjoy, I got to taste, just to taste that, just for the fun of it, Water fast, done a lot of that. I've not done a lot of dry fasting, to be honest with you, so my opinion isn't really there for you on that one. I know a couple of guys on YouTube or on Facebook has dry fasted a bit now. Dry fasting, I've heard they get the most sediment out and stuff. I don't know if dry fasting is smart, especially in the earlier stages. No way in hell is dry fasting smart. I don't even like water fasting initially, so I've tried to bring people along. That's why I use the herbs, because people like the vegetables. If you like the vegetables, you add the herbs because they have a power. But when you're up at the fruit level, I don't really care. But fruit and herbs really get your body going. Because remember, herbs are vegetables, but with a twist. They're non-hybrid, they're specific in their consciousness, and they turn on the body cells or they accelerate cleansing. Those are the 2 things that herbs do. You can have all kinds of actions if you want, whatever they are, but they still do those 2 things. What are your thoughts on breatharianism? Would be nice. Light body work, I don't know. We've talked about that before in other videos. I don't think it's possible. I know Johnny Love Wisdom probably went nuts trying it. I don't know. But for me, I don't know. That's at a level of consciousness. Maybe if you're living in a cave, but I don't. These are levels that only those spiritual people would want to trod. That's really pulling in the God force, and that's another thing, you guys. The more spiritual and the more God force you pull in, that's the highest form of eating there is, because all these plants are pieces of the whole, and when you're consuming the whole, these pieces mean nothing. So it's hard to explain that, but if you're going to be a breatharian, you need to be connected to the God force, that's for sure. And you need to learn how to live in the now, because mind requires energy that needs a stimulant side like fruits or something. Have you met someone who is one or is... You know what? I did meet there's that lady from Australia, I think, that claims to be a breatharian, but then she also claims that she eats intuitively. So I don't know how you can eat and then be a breatharian. So I don't know. And it's not a level I would think, for a conversation, I think it'd be cool as all get out not to eat anymore. And you have to worry about eating. But then again, that's why you have the 5 senses here, so God experienced all these levels of pleasure, taste, and all that. If you lose your sense of taste, I'll say this, while you have a body, when you lose your sense of taste or smell, and then you get it back, you'll know the difference of how important it is that the human body can smell and taste, as opposed to not being able to. It's just another level of God experiencing itself and all the endless levels of tastes and smells and things like that. Of course, when you get into the light bodies, there isn't the smells and the taste. So it's a different level. It's more consciousness. It's just a different level of, I mean, it's just hard to explain that. About the calories, what do you think of? I don't think about calories at all. I don't even consider that an issue at all, ever. I don't consider it an issue at all. Energy is the key component to all life, and that's what I consider. I've read that monkeys eat 5,000 to 6 calories a day. I never see that. I have to disagree with that one because I never see that. I've spent a lot of time at zoos and stuff. I've been an avid researcher mentally for years of this, and I never see that. I never see a primate getting 5,000 to 6,000 calories. Whoever said that? You ever see how they feed these gorillas in the zoos and stuff, and the fruits? They don't get 5,000 calories. That's bullshit. You don't see that at all. I don't see that at all. I bet you'll be lucky in the wild that a primate gets 1,500 to 2,000. You'll be lucky. And these kind of calories, by the way, are not accepted by any health authority now. Matter of fact, the latest research is claiming that the less calories, the better now. So I think that it's a wrong way to put man's attention is on calories. I think you should put it on quality of foods and not worry about it. Eat when you're full, stop when you're not, do the basic things of intuitiveness. I think this just shows the issue of the mind and how the mind has destroyed man's intuitiveness and ability to be well. Because all these opinions and all these people are not well, you know. Runs a lot, 100 miles a day, needs salt. When they do this, I don't know what to say about all that, man. I know other marathon runners and stuff that don't do anything like that at all. They're raw and they're booking. So I don't see that. He might be one of them that thinks that. And I don't know. And for him, maybe he needs that. You know, I don't know. He said celery wasn't enough. He likes to pump salt and B12 supplementation. You know, this guy could have malabsorption, low adrenals and kidneys. You know, who knows what this guy's got. Maybe he has malabsorption to where he feels like he's not absorbing any nutrition. You have to have more and more and more. You can't judge those things. Well, you know the best thing to answer these questions is get your foot on the train to Wellville. Start working on yourself. And experiment yourself on these things, my friend, and then you'll know. And then I don't buy into me, don't buy into him, don't buy into anybody. Just get your foot on the path. Try the difference of all these levels that you're asking me about. You try them. I've tried them. You try them. You know, because you're not going to take my word for it, you know, because I disagree with half the things you're saying here. But get yourself strapped in, baby, and get on the road and try it yourself. And then you can speak from authority. But give it a try. Don't just tell it a little bit and go, I tried it, it wasn't any good for me. I see people do that. They go on a detox for a week or two. They go, oh, yeah, that doesn't work. That for me. I see that. You know, people make these opinions after they do a month or two, and it's like, excuse me, dig in, baby. Dig in. I think he has a great lymphatic system and adrenals and to be able to do that since so many years. Not really. If he's having to pound salt like that, he has low adrenal function. I can tell you right off. Because you don't need to pound salt to do that. That's insane. You know, this is more about obstructions and resistance to the flow of energy than anything. And I've had a lot of pro athletes that don't go that way, and they're honking. Maybe because he is not 100% fruitarian, but he eats some vegetables, too much fatty acids or amino acids. Maybe, Alex, maybe. I don't know, man. I mean, you bring up some good questions, but I think you ought to strap it on and ride the bull yourself and really go down that road, because we are frugivores, and you get children in there, you'll see them go to that table of fruits each and every time. And I've got a grandson now that's Mr. Warrior Dude, and I mean, this guy hasn't got, he's so strong and thick, muscle and heavy, and he's been 100% fruit a lot of the time, but he's probably now 70% fruit. But his dad my son puts stuff in front of him. He goes for the fruit about every time. I mean, this guy's a little power dude and smart. I mean, this guy. When I see children raised on fruit, I don't see anything anybody's claiming out there. The kids are unbelievable. It's just again more propaganda crap out there. And see here. Okay, so here's a case. My wife has a pretty severe case of adenomyosis. Unfortunately, she has a pretty poor diet too. Can you please give some natural dietary advice to help clean her up? Brady. Brady, this is I would recommend her douching with a Heal All Tea, getting 100% raw, because she's going to have to pull and clean that uterine wall. I mean, this is how acids weld the uterus to the colon. So you've got to get her kidneys filtering and the adrenals up, and get that happening so she can clean the uterus and the ovaries and all that. But you can insert vaginally there, because the vaginal wall, she's going to have some problems. I don't know if she's ever done pap smears to check on atypical cells, but she could pop them as well. So this is real important that she going that way, because this is pure detoxification, Brady, for her to get this. She needs to go 100% raw, kick herself up into more fruit, start getting those kidneys to filter, and I would go in that way. Because she's infiltrating your tissues. You know, and that's just all acidosis, all lymph. And it'll all get hard, it'll all weld herself to the bowel wall. Weld that uterus to the bowel wall. That's not good. I was looking at this one because, hey, I've seen you on the videos and know you help, Dr. Morris, with the eye picks. Thanks, man. Very knowledgeable. Thank you. I'm currently taking this TEH. I've seen that. I don't know what at all it is. A deep tissue cleanse kit from Roger over at Harkin Herbs. I mean, Roger that worked for us, that doesn't work for us anymore, that guy. I looked through the videos and saw nothing for the autoimmune disease called, now I have to read this to you because I don't know how to pronounce this, HIDRADENITIS SUPPURATIVA. Is skin, where you get little bumps on the skin all around. Chronic skin condition, they claim, where you get the little pustulas and things like that. Not an autoimmune condition, no such thing. Remember that, guys. Don't buy into that sort of thing. What is the skin to the human body? Protection, correct? Yeah, but what does it operate as? Third kidney. So when you look at that, you start to realize that you lose vapors and you lose acids out of the skin as well, right? Right. So you see all the rashes and the eczema, the psoriasis, all these pustulas and all this. Matter of fact, you can also see them all in the mouth. You can see them all over the place. And this is all lymphatic in origin. And there's only one way to clear them up. Only one way. And that is get your kidneys filtering, get your adrenals up, get the kidneys filtering, get the bowels cleaned up, and clean that lymph. It'll start cleaning subcutaneously, and then it'll affect the dermis and epidermis. It'll start cleaning everything up real well. And that's the only way to get rid of this. Not an autoimmune problem. It is a chronic lymphatic problem. Instead of saying a chronic skin problem, they should say a chronic lymphatic problem, because that's just what it is. And the only remedy, of course, is to fix the lymphatic system, as usual, because this isn't a blood problem. It's a lymphatic pustulas. The dumb medical industry knows nothing. Of course they don't, because they don't understand that system. That's why there's no remedy to any of these things, my friend. But you can get remedy. We see that a lot. You can get remedy with that easy. But you've got to get the kidneys filtering. You got to clean up the bowels, get the kidneys filtering, and get yourself sweating too. If you're not sweating. But I was wondering if Dr. Morris could. Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, I was wondering if he knows if you can initiate adult tooth to come in at the age of 31. That might be interesting. I've never seen that one, but you would need a couple things to go with this, wouldn't you? First of all, you'd have to make sure that your lymph system's pretty clean here, right? Because the more acidic we become up in these areas, then you're breaking down. You're not promoting growth, right? So you're going to hydrate interstitially, right? You could do that. So you want to clean up the mouth pretty good. You can use a mouthwash of Heal All Tea or stomach tea or whatever, and just start cleaning, get the kidneys filtering, get all this done. Then you'd want to take a look at your pituitary, wouldn't you? And what other gland? Parathyroid gland, wouldn't you? You want to make sure your parathyroid gland, you're utilizing calcium at a rate that you can promote growth, right? At the same time, you want to make sure that the pituitary and the promotion of growth there as well. So I would look at those two endocrine glands at the same time and clean up my body, try to get an alkaline mouth and things like that, and then who knows? I don't know. I can't tell you, but who knows? I've seen some stuff happen on in life, like the spinal bifida cases where they were born without vertebrae, then developed vertebrae. Seen some neat shit. Neat stuff. But man keeps wallowing in the vegetable and in the lower mineral worlds. Okay, but not for you higher thinkers. You know, you'll see the difference. Experiment with these levels. Experiment with these herbs. Experiment with these vegetable diets and fruit diets. Don't take my word for it. Experiment with them. But I think you have enough people on Facebook here that can tell you the difference between the fruits and the vegetables. And you guys on Facebook, be careful that you're not pulled into ridiculous kind of crap on all these people that make these claims that have no clue. They're not doing what you're doing. You know, these natural hygienists always have claimed herbs were toxic. Right, half the animals are dead now. You know, give me a break. You know, and they're eating vegetables and they're down on herbs. Herbs are vegetables. That's what vegetables are. That's where they came from. So I mean, it's ridiculous thinking. But that would be interesting. I'd like to see that. If you could do that, that would be cool as heck. Oh, get out. I have two cavities like in my gums and had baby teeth till a year ago. No kidding! Wow! But that is suggestive of maybe pituitary and parathyroid problems. That'd be the two I would guess. Why don't you get a picture of your eyes and take a look at your pituitary, your parathyroid, your lymphatic system, and look in the eyes around where the mouth is. That'd be around 2 o'clock or so on the right side and maybe 10 o'clock or so on the left. Take a look at that and see. I was wondering if the body full heals, then the teeth would come in. I would think so, Carol. I would think that would be fascinating. See, you guys are going to be the experimentation for the future. And most of you are already proving things right and left. I've seen things right and left that just freak me out. And I don't get freaked out real easy. And so I would love to see, Carol, see what you could do with this. Get yourself up there on these high diets. You might want to pump some greens, though, just to get some more minerals going. But bite my tongue saying that. But I would say one thing I probably wouldn't, because my friend was a fruitarian and he was regrowing enamel like crazy. And I'm going, you son of a bitch, because I couldn't do that. But then again, you know, thyroid, parathyroid. You know, we all have our weaknesses. But that was back in the early 70s, late 60s. We had a different consciousness back then, you know. Oh. Hello, my name is Matilda, and I'm an 18-year-old girl from Sweden. Boy, I wish I could get herbs over into you, sweetheart. I'm suffering from chronic headaches. Ooh, brain fog, I don't like that. Lack of mental clarity, I don't like that. Severe congestion of the GI tract, and a variety of other symptoms that gets worse by each day. Oh, honey, you're only 18 years old. Well, here's the thing. First of all, you know about the milks and the dairy. You got an XA on that. Get your kidneys filtering. Bring your adrenals up. Get your kidneys filtering. Clean that GI tract. Get on the stomach and bowel formulas, the GI broom. Put yourself on the detox kit, at least number 1. That'll deworm you. Get everything starting. And then from there, you can, well, however your affordability is, jump into the lymphatics, the kidneys, the adrenals, of course, and work on that. I would definitely use upper circulation. Start moving up there. I'd also use Parasite M for a few months just to defungal yourself, just because that can create brain fog right there. But this suggests a lot of inflammation up in the head area. I don't like that. You know, and then the autonomic coming in back here. So I don't know if you get dizzy or equilibrium symptoms there, but, you know, you want to get all this acids, all this inflammation out of your body. So upper circuit, brain, and nerve are two things that I find invaluable for your problem right now. Those two are essential. Then from there, I'm going to start working. I'm going to start cleaning all these acids and inflammation out, all the mucus out. I'm going to start cleaning my body out of all this. So energy's starting to flow better. Neurotransmitters are coming up from the adrenals, turning on those myelin sheaths and not electrifying your autonomic. That's what I'd be doing. Nothing in my head seems to work. Mostly neurological related symptoms. Yeah. So you really upper circulation of brain and nerve are my two for anything like that. That way, upper circ is moving blood more aggressively to the brain cells, bringing more oxygen to the brain. Second of all, it does have some nerve rebuilders, but the brain and nerve are about neurons and rebuilding neurons and turning on the nervous system again. At the same time, you've got an autonomic part to that, which which comes to the stomach, and then remember it connects to the adrenals. So you want to get the adrenals up, you want to clean the GI tract, and all this will start fading away, dear one. Good cold and flu-like symptoms be excellent good. So you want to move to your fruits and your berries and your melons, maybe a salad a day, and really pick it up, because if you're working on brain and nerve, vegetables, let me tell you guys, for the people that argue this sort of thing, what's interesting to me is, take an MS case and give them all take 2 MS cases. Try to get some similar brain lesions and things like that. Give one all vegetables and one all fruit. Tell me the difference. You tell me the difference. I've already done that. You tell me what the difference is. I have been taking the glandulars for 4 months, as well as sticking to a high fruit diet, accompanied with heaps of herbal tinctures without noticing any major improvements. Wow. Well, think about this. Upper circumbrain nerve, hit that. Do the Parasite M. Try to get all this fungal out of you. Make sure you're getting your kidneys filtering. Hard to drain the brain when the kidneys aren't filtering. So you want to pee in a jar and look at that, sweetheart, and really start working with that. Get the GI broom and really start cleaning that out. I desperately need to accelerate my healing process, but I'm afraid that a fast will leave me too underweight and depleted. I'm running out of tools, time, and patience. What herbs are you using? Because we can't get herbs to you over in Sweden. So you might want to find a way to get that in there. And needless to be said, my genetics are failing me. I am confused and need guidance. Matilda from Stockholm. Well, I don't know about what formulas you're on and all this sort of thing. I only know about my formulas and what I designed them for and what I've witnessed with them. But I'd say this. Hard to get improvement when the kidneys are not filtering lymphatically, inflammation and stuff like that. That's why the upper circumbrain and nerve are imperative in your case to help you with that. Also, kill the fungus out of you. That's another big one on that. But again, bring up your adrenal glands and do glandulars, especially from New Zealand. Those are the strongest that I see out there. And work with that a little bit. And if you're still having trouble, you might want to make an appointment with Marcy or something and have her take a look at you. Just send in a picture of your eyes or something. Take a look at your eyes and see what you're up against. That's right in your face, literally, and that'll give you a good example of what you're up against. You know, you might be up against some real chronic stuff, sweetheart. So just have patience, because there's nothing else out there. Tools, tools, tools. There are very few of them, unfortunately. But we have good tools. It's just you have to, time is involved in there. And I know you're saying you feel worse every day. It's horrible thinking, especially at your age. Horrible. But at your age, I can tell you, factually, kidneys and adrenals are going to be way down. Check your blood pressure both sides and see where you are on that. Probably running real low blood pressures, things like that, you know. Check all that out. But I don't know anything outside of that, because there is no other tools that are viable to us. Nature supplies us all. We've gotten ourselves so far, like you said, genetically compromised and down, and now we have to rethink that. And again, I can't say it enough, the importance of each and every one of you. That's why I want you to love yourselves and understand the vitalness that you play. Because just this 18-year-old suffering, they're all over the world suffering like this. And you guys know the secrets. Yes, people have to work themselves through these. There's no easy do and I'm going to eat a few fruit and going to regenerate my genetics. Of course not. But there is a process to do that, and it's a good one, because everything feels good. And the foods feel good. If you have to, hook up with some crystals. This is Karen Mimber. How you guys getting along with the new club? I hate to say it, but I love it. I mean, it's essential in the protection, because I'm going to tell you, the negative forces are strong, and you got to protect yourself if you want to continue to have access to anything that'll help you, because they want to eliminate your tools. And this is the best way to help us to be able to continue to supply those tools. I don't know what else to say about it, you know. And it's no big deal. You know, I hear people bitching about becoming a club member, but it's like, is that my computer? What's the big deal? We're all friends. We're all part of the same movement. We're here as God people. That's all it is. You know, and we're connecting that way. And we're here to help the world. But we want to do it in a protective way. And hopefully, someone asked me this about in other countries, hopefully this protection we can extend around the world and give some protection so you guys can help others without fear of retribution. I mean, does something strike a chord in you when when you're there to help people get well and your governments don't want you to? What's wrong with that picture? So you see this world is really closed up and controlled a lot by the negative side of Cal. And it's just, it's a dominant force real strong right now. And you guys, the only way you bring positive into the negative is through each and every one of you. And so you have to be strong enough to not allow the negative in, to get beyond that mind to where you now are the power of God here, the light. And that's not a mental power. That's consciousness. That's awareness. And that's what you're infusing into this. We're infusing awareness in those that argue over fruit, over vegetables with humans. And we're not designed like herbivores. Look, just that alone. Show me, look at the animals that eat vegetables. And do we look like any one of them? Most of them have 4 legs. I mean, it's just idiocy stuff. And it's obvious that different primates live in different places, and they're going to eat just like we. I watch all these Alaska programs. I don't know why. I just like it. I don't like the cold. But look, they eat exclusively dead animals. They've got to stink. Poop isn't good. I mean, all this stuff. Who would choose that? Then there's this guy. He's got a new show out, and he goes to all these where the wild men are. I love that guy on the island in New Zealand. I mean, in Australia, the guy off that island. Oh, I thought he's a cool dude, man. Funny. But he just did one in Texas, western Texas, out in the desert. And this guy was a fashion photographer in New York that said, nope, I want freedom. And he sold his place and bought a bunch of acres out in the desert. And he was being asked by this guy about why here, and he said, well, at least it's not cold and it doesn't snow, and I don't have to kill all my food to eat it. All right, Karen, the first day of the best part of my life began the day oh, thanks, sweetheart. I love you. Thanks a lot for that. I'm currently on a chemical metal detox, doing green drinks with parsley, cilantro, spinach, cucumber, celery. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. That's great. That's a great drink, too. That's a good cleansing detox drink. I really like that one, too. I'm not against green drinks and stuff like that, especially when you take the pulp out of it when you're detoxing. I'm not against that at all. You know, we can play and have fun in all these levels. You know, one doesn't have to always be just a fruitarian, but if you've never experienced some of those levels of mono fruits and stuff, have fun with that, especially in detoxification. You're always going to come out and balance in a world like this, because you would have to live in Costa Rica or Thailand or somewhere to be all fruit. And Yaz, I don't know if you're all fruit, and Yaz, don't worry about that club, okay? But, you know, eating all fruit, that's a buzz. And last time I talked to Yaz a long time ago, he was having a hard time with energy, too much energy, and this has been the thing. Can we handle it spiritually is the question. And she's also taking the Kim Metal Detox Formula. Yeah, you probably wouldn't need to spend the money on that. When you're doing those greens like that, you probably wouldn't need to spend the money for that one. I mean, it does have other herbs in there to help you, of course, but you're doing pretty good with that side of it. I think the other side of that is move lymph, because the blood isn't the major detoxifying fluid that you need to worry about. The metals are dumped into the lymph system, so interstitially, that's where everything is held, and that's where inflammation is bred, not in the blood. So that's a real key there. That's why you always check hair analysis instead of urine or saliva for toxic metals. You want hair if you're going to look at that, but you want to get interstitial. You want to move that lymph if you really want to get the heavy metals. And how about the neurotoxins? They're just as bad as the metals. So you want to get all that out as a detox, and the lymph is the system. Because you clean up the lymph, which will make you clean the spleen, make you clean the liver and all that, the blood will clean itself up real beautifully. But remember, even blood, everything's dumped interstitially. You can't carry heavy metals in the blood. You can take things to pull them into the blood, of course, but how much do you want to do that? Compromising blood pH? Good way to kill yourself. How long should I stay on the green drinks? It's up to you. Do intuitively, you know. Do it for a couple months if you want, but do the fruit too, because they'll help clean the lymph too. They'll help your grapes are a heavy metal detoxer big time. You know, these foods detox these metals and stuff out of the body big time. But you have to get the kidneys filtering. Does that make sense? Yeah, because now you're going to clean, even the blood, remember, cleans a little bit in the kidneys, mainly in the spleen, but everything cleans toward the kidneys. Kidneys not filtering, bam, right? So kidneys can become full of heavy metals, particularly copper and the like. Don't like that. And then the head, mercury, like this one poor girl, she could have high mercury levels in the head area. You've got to detox that sewer system, which will then detox the blood. It's like in dialysis. You're just detoxifying the blood. That doesn't detoxify the lymph, so the patient continues to get worse and shows all the lymphatic things, from neuropathies to gangrenes to everything else. That's because they're not detoxifying the lymph, they're only detoxifying the blood. You detoxify the lymph, you'll then, in turn, detoxify the blood. I believe I am highly toxic, as I have been overly sensitive to chemicals, perfumes, soaps. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're right on with that, I think, dear. For many years, I can't afford to get tested to find out. I wouldn't even worry about it. Just clean yourself out. I highly suspect mercury. Well, a hair analysis is, I think we charge like now, it used to only be $60, and it went up to $75. I think it's like $90 now or something for a hair analysis. As I have had a mouthful of agum. Yeah, same here. So you know you got mercury. So you just detox. Don't worry about the small stuff. You're doing good. Your focus is good. That were done and redone every time they cracked. I know it. Didn't that suck? And I, as a child, played with mercury, you know, with pennies and changing pennies from copper or whatever to I had a bad reaction to my regular hair color. Yeah, I know. And I'll tell you what. You ladies at perm and everything, holy crap, what a toxic procedure that is. Remember, most hair beauticians fight either MS or what else? Brain cancers. I know, scary stuff out there, guys. Chemicals on the skin means chemicals inside the body. We've you know, given in the scope of infiniteness, so to speak, this small period of time, man has been going down a bad, wrong road. Will probably be a nightmare from hell, memories lost. But it'll bring balance in the mind of how to use and when not to use, when to hold them and when to fold them and when to run. And some of this chemistry means run, because this stuff is bad. These pharmaceuticals and these antidepressants and anti-anxieties, run. Be careful. You know, suicides and all these kids going crazy on these antidepressants. Nobody blames them. Oh my God, what a sick world. And you guys are here helping to make it unsick. And you need your just due. So I'm placing a huge gold star on every one of you. The star of God. Oh, you can use the hennas. You know, you said I had a bad reaction to a hair color a few months ago and was very dizzy for 6 weeks. Oh, crap. Yeah, no. You already got a good direction right now. Keep moving. Get your GI tract cleaned up so your sinuses and everything can drain. Get your kidneys filtering, dear one. Get your adrenals up so you keep that nervous system moving. And I dare say I would use upper circuit, brain, and nerve. Absolutely. It turned out to be a healing crisis, as my armpits actually stunk like a garbage dump for 10 days. That was a healing crisis. Good observation. You guys are getting good. Good observation. Good observation. Yeah, when you stink, those are proteins coming out. Hey, now what about that? When you eat fruits and veggies, you don't stink, but when you eat dead tissue, you have putrefaction, of course, and you stink. I don't think stinking is a part of natural health. I'd rather smell like the food I eat, right? And that's just what we do. We smell like the food we eat. How interesting is that chemistry? So I'd rather smell like a grape or a banana or a mango than I would a turnip or a carrot. Thank you. You hear that? That's what you need to clean out, that damn mucus. We all go through it. And I enjoy it because I know that the more I clean out of me, the better I smell, the better I hear, the better I think, the better I see, all that kind of stuff like that. I'm still working on getting my bowels cleaned out and my kidneys to filter. Good. This is a good woman here, man. So that my head will open up and begin. You got it. God, I am getting tired of greens and miss the hydration and energy of the fruits. Did you hear that one? Let me read that one again. Karen, I love you, but you're just exuding what everybody else experiences. I'm getting tired of greens and miss the hydration and energy of the fruits. Thank you, dear. Me too. I can do my salads. I can do my greens, but boy, when I go and have fruit, you ought to see my kitchen. I mean, if you ever come into my kitchen, yes, I've got every fruit in the world there if you want. I end up throwing a lot away because I don't eat it all. My eyes are definitely bigger than my stomach when I'm shopping for fruit because I load them up, but I can't eat that much. I'm a bigger guy, but you'd be surprised what I don't eat. I don't eat very much at all, but I have energy coming in like crazy. Would it be okay just to eat or juice grape? Absolutely. That's a greater detoxifier, actually, of metals. When we were stuck on the green thing because, that's in the social thinking. But in reality, your lymph system is the biggest system that you've got to face in getting metals out of you. And that would be done better by the grapes and the greens. But I think you're doing great with that. I think now, since you're getting tired of that, it's the little knock. Time to let those greens go and head for the grapes. Definitely agree with you. And take the Kim Metal Detox Herbal Form. You could do that with the grapes, absolutely. But you wouldn't need to do that when you're doing the greens. I mean, you're doing too much there, and you don't need to spend the money. But when you're doing the grapes, you could spend the money for that. But you wouldn't even need to have to do that, really, if you're really getting the filtration going and stuff. I'm also taking other herbs and glandulars. Thank you for your videos. Oh, thank you so much. You're sweet. Thanks, Karen. Good. Now, there's a person that gets it. Okay, it says, hi, thank you so much for allowing me to send my inquiry because I have seen several doctors who can't help me. Well, that's why we're here. That's why we're here. Oh, this is Julie. This is why we're here, sweetheart. I'll tell you right now. I noticed that my scalp started to have an odor about 3 years ago. Uh-oh. It smelled dirty, dingy, moldy, sour milk, and like wet dog. Wow. Well, I'll say this. You probably are fungal up to the max, dear one. So I can tell you, very weak adrenals. You're not filtering. You have putrefaction. You have too much putrefaction, all this up in your head, but this is also moldy smell. You've got heavy fungal problems in your body, my guess is, and you're not moving lymph very well at all in the head. So you're one I would probably live on like a parasitic, like Parasite M, but antifungal for quite a while. At the same time, I'm going to be cleaning the sewer system out that most of that is in because that's essential to get fungus done completely. If you see people that have fungus, toes and toenails and fingernails, you can't get rid of it completely with just antifungals. You need to move lymph. Then that sewer system, remember this commercial for Lamisil? So remember, move that lymph. And you need to drain up here because, man, nothing good can come with this. And if you're getting odor out of the scalp, honey, that's your sewer system. And that sounds like heavy fungal problems, too. Mold, the like. So you want to get that out of yourself. My dermatologist gave me, keto cortisol something shampoo or whatever, but that seemed to only work for a short time. You know why? Suppression. And that's something you don't want to do, is suppress your lymph system in your head. Oh no, big no-no, because then it becomes worse and worse each time. Through trial and error, I found that a salicylic acid shampoo and selenium sulfide shampoo, all suppressants, honey, all suppressants. Excuse me, I'm sorry guys, used together seem to help control the smell a little. Oh no, you're putting in more chemistry to exacerbate. Matter of fact, the sulfides will suppress but exacerbate the fungal, which will only make it worse in time. So you're kind of holding back, and boy, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. No. If you're going to do anything, do hot and cold. You want to open. You want to drain. You want to open and clean. And I have to tell you, kill, because I think you're heavy fungal up. I have to use it every day or else the smell returns like a punch in the face, and it's going to get a bigger punch and a bigger punch and a bigger punch, and now you're going to affect your central nervous system. And no, honey, no. Detox. Live with it for a few weeks or a month or two and get into the extreme detox. Go all raw. Move up into the course we've been talking about. Get your kidney formulas. Get your adrenals up. Get your bowels cleaned out. Get everything so it can drain. That's your only savior to find remedy. And all that'll clean out. And of course, you want to promote sweating. Even if you stink, who cares? Promote sweating. Get away from people for a few months. Get all this out. Because if you keep suppressing with sulfates and sulfides, not good. Nothing ever good comes of that. You'll suppress bacterium and you'll promote fungal growth. No. And you'll suppress lymph growth and you're just suppressing and adding to it. No, not good. I used to have dandruff. Look at this, guys. Look at this. I used to have dandruff a long time ago in her early 20s. So right there, she had lymphatic drainage problems right there in the head. But no one knew how to tell her that. Get some blue or whatever. Suppress that lymph system. Oh my God. No, that's why it got the bad rap it did. You know, these shampoos and antisuppressants like that, or suppressants like that. Oh my God. No. But poor thing, honey, in your 20s, you were having lymphatic problems in the brain. That's not good, sweetheart. You got to get everything out and moving and promoting, sweating. Make sure your thyroid is up. And now this is pituitary. This is everything. You just have to see all your related symptoms. It'd be interesting to look at this case on Facebook and see all the symptoms. But I haven't had flakes for since then, but it never smelled. That's because you've done nothing but suppress all that. I am now in my late 30s, no flakes, but just this smell. I've tried the apple cider vinegar on the hair that made it smell like an Easter egg. No. There's not. You've got to promote elimination of your sewer system. This is your sewer system, and in my opinion, you're heavy fungal up. So there's two things I would advise. That is hit your fungus with like Parasite M. Spend a few months on that one, and really dig into my lymph system. I really would get upper circ just to get blood moving more aggressively up there. But you want to use hot and cold showers and really promote scalp and promote elimination. Not suppression, elimination, and you'll get this done. Because you got to go back and fix why you had the dandruff when you were in your 20s. You got to go back and fix some things. Let me see here. I'm trying to change my diet, but it's too early to tell if that's working. No, you got to go 100% raw. I mean, it's going to take you a while to get up here and get this done. It's not going to be overnight, sweetheart. Don't look for an overnight remedy. It's not going to happen to you. You've been building for years to get here. So you're going to take a lot of months to get back. So don't freak out. Just go for it. Get it done, because any other way, you're not helping yourself. You're suppressing it with this selenium sulfide shampoo. Not good stuff. Not good at all. It's disappointing that the doctors seem to not care, which I blame on ignorance in the subject matter. Absolutely. You're absolutely 100% right there, Julie. This has been very emotionally stressful. I bet it has. You're a female on top of that, so it would be emotionally stressful for anyone. But there's only one way to get remedy like this. Seen some of these cases before where they got bad odors out of the head. I know others can smell it, and even some coworkers have made comments. I would do my best to work this out, and you want to promote. You want to put you could even do saunas and stuff. And get yourself really sweating. You want elimination, not suppression. And once you achieve that smell will go away. But I will say that I still feel you're a high fungus lady here. I'm worried that I have some strange illness. No, not strange. Also, the medicated shampoos that I use are damaging to my hair. And hair follicles, which are located where? And has dried it out like straw. See, Nixay, start going the other way. Promote elimination, not acidosis. You're promoting acidosis. You want to promote alkalosis or alkalinity. I can't use any conditioner because it seems to make my hair smell. I would use anything. Get Barner's peppermint shampoo, in that Dr. Bronner's or whatever. That's what we use at home. Love those simple shampoos like that. But you really just want to promote elimination. This is inside the body, and you want to get it outside the body, and this is your sewer system. That's why the dandruff in the first place. That's that flaky skin. That's lymph, and that's acidosis. And that's why if you don't clean the dandruff off, you start burning the scalp, just like not cleaning a diaper off of a baby's bottom. Acids burn back. I can't use any conditioner. No, why can't I just wash my hair with all the pretty smelling and luxurious shampoos like other women? Well, that's because your condition inside your head is not like other women. You're backed up lymphatically too much, honey, and it sounds like you have a high fungal level, and you could have high sulfur in your body from sulfur drugs and stuff, even using sulfate shampoos and stuff, bringing that in. And that only instigates more fungal problems. The smell is so bad and so debilitating to my social. I can see that. I need some relief, and I can't find anyone to help me. Can you help me? I can help you fix that right out of there. I can tell you, I can't imagine you. I've never seen where anybody couldn't. There's no way that you could not get this from the cell. It's not an ailment. It's toxicity, and I'll have to say that you're probably full of fungus. I really have to say that. You are saving the world. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. Well, Julie, there's no reason you can't clear this up. But I would stop using these shampoos and head toward elimination, even though it might not be pleasant around you. You say, I'm detoxing. Excuse me. And try to find something, but everything natural. Everything natural and simple, and promote sweating. You're going to stink, but you want to promote sweating. Get this out. Do a fungal kill. Get the GI tract cleaned out. Get the kidneys filtering. And there's no reason on this planet you will have that any longer. All right? And this is Mark. Hey, Mark. I have a technical question about bone marrow, cartilage, epidermis. Yeah, we've been talking about this. I'm reading your book. I want to say about this, Mark. I wrote that book for my classes 20 years ago or more. And I took that part out of a medical dictionary. But I'll be honest with you, Marcy and I have talked a lot about that because Marcy asked me about this. I don't know how she got. I don't know. It says lymph vessels extend throughout your body and mimic your blood vessels, and they are larger. The lymph and blood capillaries extend into almost every interstitial area of all cells. They are not found in bone marrow, epidermis, cartilage, and nervous systems. That's medical thinking. I can't, to be honest with you, even though I put that in there, I looked back at that and thought about that since you wrote that, and I have, since Marcy brought that to my attention, and it was Shannon that brought that to my attention. And it was like, you know what? I can't verify that. I cannot verify that. One thing is for sure, all these tissues, whether it's cartilage, whether it's bone or bone marrow or nervous systems, are cells. And there has to be a way for cells to dump their waste. And minimally so. If there's no lymph capillaries, that means the blood takes up both issues. Feeding and removing toxins. If you look at ionization and ions and what we were talking earlier, you're bringing in acids back into the blood, which has nutrients, and that can create another beast of another color in ionization and oxidation. And so that's why you have to keep this chemistry separate. You're talking about chemistry that's already at the end of cycles, whether it's a Krebs cycle or whatever, metabolism, respiration cycles. There has to be an elimination to some degree of these wastes. It's not a closed house where you recycle, at least. I mean, there is some thoughts of that. That goes back to breatharian and things like that, the recycling of waste and the conversion of these wastes by the liver. That's a theory of another level of thinking, and I can't have that level and have stability on this site, if you understand what I mean. So I don't know what to say to you. Because I'm not sure about that, Mark. I will say this, that in all our thinking, there has to be elimination in the bone marrow because you have bone marrow cancers, you have bone cancers, and if the blood was removing the waste, and it isn't from poor blood flow. So I do feel, and today I do feel that there has to be microscopic lymph vessels where there's microscopic, or capillaries where there's microscopic vascular capillaries. I just feel that that's essential. It's possible, however, that the blood movement out of these areas ran through the lymph system closer to the lymph vessels or the spleen where that's dumped quicker and cleaned quicker. It's possible, maybe. Hard to say. There has not been enough research in the lymph system and understanding that system, even the body's exhibits, where you have those people that are right into the human body, slicing it and dicing it, that does not represent the lymph system. So when you have this body's exhibit, which defines itself as the total body, looking at it in every way, each organ, each system, even the body cut every inch horizontally and vertically, and they don't focus on the lymph system at all, it brings to question what, there's a huge amount of anatomy we don't know. And when medical makes claims as if these are facts when they're really theories, I don't know what to say about it. I just don't know what to say about it. But when you see bone cancer, that isn't a blood problem. When you see bone marrow cancer, what's eating up the bone? Acids. Your blood can't be that acidic. That means acids aren't getting out of these tissues from the cells that are eliminating them. What does that say to you? So say me. So I don't know. That's the problem. Not much of that book, but some of it I had to take out of some medical dictionaries because I wanted to give as much well-rounded knowledge as we could. Also, the publisher did have a lady there adding some things in there at times, and that doesn't sound like anything I wrote. So I don't know. It's 20-some years ago. Hard to say, Mark, but in today's world with our thinking now, because we're growing in our thinking, because we're researching as much as we can. Staff brings me stuff. We're still trying to put it together so we all can see it at a far greater level. It's like Marcy pulling all this stuff about cancer and the mucus bonds around cells and how they're using chemo to try to break down this mucus bonds. Excuse me, but that mucus is what you're trying to get out. But it's going to be around cells for what reason? Protection. The problem with that is autointoxication. I don't know how you want to say that. Intracellular acidosis is how I say it. But autointoxication of the cell from its own waste, where that mucus gets too much built up on the outside from all the acid consumption and all that, all the types of foods, all that mucus doesn't allow cells to eliminate interstitially because interstitial is so full of the mucus, then it becomes intracellular acidosis. That's how I see it. Outside of that, I think there's lymph capillaries, like I say, microscopic everywhere. Everywhere there's blood, I think there's lymph. And I think that's true in all systems. But I'm not a researcher. I can't tell you. But it only makes common sense. And I think sometimes common sense is far better than some of our theories that we have that just don't make any sense. My way of thinking. I'm going to try to have Chris take this off and I come in this weekend and do more, but I can't promise you that I'll do that. And this is Kelly. Thank you for being you. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. I appreciate that. I have been following questions on the toxin absorber. Toxin absorber was a formula made by Blessed Herbs, Michael, his wife, at Blessed Herbs. I use toxin absorber only to slow up people that have diarrhea because it is a real binding formula. But I think BE Irons, most of the companies have a form of toxin absorber. Mine is GI Broom, and you see the radical difference. Mine doesn't create obstructions, and it pulls and draws, and that's what you're looking for is astringents. They put on more on clays like bentonite and charcoal, which I do use, but only at about 2%, because I don't want to bind. I don't want to lock people's bowels up. I want to gently absorb toxins, but it's not absorption of toxins what we want. We want to clean plaques off the wall, and we want to promote absorption, but we have to move interstitially. And of course, we've got lymph. We have, in these villi of your bowels, your rings of your bowels, you got the absorption into either the lymph capillaries or the vascular capillaries. And it's surprisingly what is absorbed into the lymph capillaries nutritively that has to be carried to the liver. That's why I showed you that old chart showing the absorption from the small bowel to the liver lymphatically. And remember I told you in class we had a medical doctor claim, he said, I never saw that before. That's what I'm saying. Things have been left out in modern anatomy and physiology that weren't in the old days. So going back finding the older stuff might be eye-opening, just saying. The 14-week protocol calls for taking the toxin absorber in weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6. not mine. I don't have toxin absorber in a 14-week protocol in mine at all. So I don't know where that came into play. I have GI Broom, but I don't have toxin absorber. I only use that formula, which isn't mine. I use that one, again, when people have diarrhea, and I don't have anything to slow them up like that. So you give them the clays and, that sort of thing to kind of slow them up. But you have to be real careful because not to create the opposite, impactions. However, the side note states, monitor bowel movements. If still moving more than 4 times a day, begin toxin absorber. Question, if I am having 3 to 4 movements a day, not more than 4, do I start the toxin absorber? Not really. I think that's for more people with diarrhea. Are they formed stools? If they're nice formed stools or halfway formed, I wouldn't do too much toxin absorber with that. The GI Broom, of course, if you have more than 3 or 4 bowel movements a day, you want to you might want to cut back on that one because that's a strong one. You want to cut back on your stomach and bowel formula because if you're moving every day, you only need stomach and bowel number 1, which has no cascara, nothing in there to move you. And then you can use the GI Broom pretty effectively and everything because it doesn't bind you. It'll help move you a little bit. Did a little cascara in that one. And by the way, someone asked about cascara sagrada again. I'm like, I want to throw up. There's so many ridiculous thoughts out there and misinformation put out there. You got to trust some of us that are herbalists that have been around for 40 years. You got to trust that because there's so much wrong information and propaganda out there that it's just not true. Just not true at all. So call in about Gin B about this toxin absorber because we don't put toxin absorber in our 14-week protocols unless that was something that was put in there because you had diarrhea or something. So you need to call the staff on that one. If I am to start the toxin absorber, there are 14 packets. It sounds like you got the toxin absorber, but the protocol calls for using the toxin absorber in weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6. The math does not add up. Would you call in on that one, Kelly? Because I don't know where you got the toxin absorber in these 14-week protocol. That is not in my 14-week protocol. Maybe someone wrote this up for you, gave you that, and added that in there because they thought you needed it. I don't know, but please contact Gin B, my personal assistant, for that one, would you, Kelly? Because that something sounds fishy right there. And fish stink, and if you eat fish, you're going to stink. Hey, Chad. I wanted to thank you for my Skype consultation we had a few months ago. It totally rejuvenated my detox journey. Thanks, my friend. I am currently taking 4 glandulars, 4 tinctures, 4 capsules, GI Broom, Hill OT, and Superfood Blend 2. Man, you're kicking ass. Also, today is day 39. Day 39 on all grapes, and I am going strong. Go, Chad, go. I am still not filtering. God dang. I wish I knew more, guys. I wish I knew more to help you more about filtration. I just wish I knew more. I think hydration is an issue, a hardening of the kidneys and the filtration system of the kidneys from acids. I just think, the hardening of the lymph fluids from this, because the body gets hard the more acidic it gets. Your tumors get hard, you get hard. Horrible. 39 days. I don't like the fact you're not filtering, but damn, you did good. The question I wanted to ask you involves the lymphatic system and neurolymphatic points. My understanding is that since the lymphatic has no muscle to push it, like the blood has the heart, lymph, but it does have its little gates, and I do say that I think the lymph is definitely moved by muscle movement because movement is how you get the lymph moving. Definitely doing that. It's the pressure it doesn't have behind it. However, it can get pressure, and I think there is some pressure to this system of that which I have knew not. But you get lymph pressure in the eyes, they call glaucomic pressure, and you can measure that. But there is some pressure, and you have your valves just like your vascular system. Muscles do, I think, help move the lymph because we do rebounding and cheese, and we do things to help move lymph. We need muscles and things like that. So I do believe there is a bit of that. My thing has been about too much exercise in non-filtration cases is simple. That creates more acidosis when you're not filtering. When you're filtering, then I do recommend activity and helping you to move lymph that way. Lymph uses the neurological system to move through the body, and absolutely. And that's another reason why the neural lymphatics, absolutely. I imagine neural lymphatic points down the spine as making something of a lymph highway or lymph artery. I think so. I think it really helps energetically speaking, neurologically, energetically speaking, to turn on that system. Agreed totally with that. Not that I would understand 100% of that. But, it's definitely an energetic neural stimulation of the lymph system, absolutely. But I do think there's still muscle help with that. Each point marks a junction with different lymph wave, meets up with the major lymph. Yeah, because down the spine you got all these pathways, reaching into every level of the body, up and down as you go down the spine. You have all your gateways and things, absolutely. Much like a stream flows down a river. Oh, you guys are getting good. Each of these points acts like a power station of sorts, moving the lymph. Is this understanding accurate? I would think to some degree, absolutely. If it is, I would Google kinesiology and read up more on it and see their take on it. But I think you're right on with that, except I do think there is some muscle issues with that, which, of course, muscle moves with what? Nervous system as well. So absolutely, the neural highway. Without the neural highway, we're nothing. So that to me is vital, neural highways. And of course, adrenals are essential to that, and the central nervous system's essential to that. So keeping all these tissue healthy is really vital, in my opinion. In the detox. That's what, what you're bringing up here, Chad, is why I'm adding brain and nerve in these detox kits early on. Just what you're bringing up here is some of my thinking too. And so I added the brain and nerve formulas in these kits because if I can enhance the nervous system, I can enhance movement of muscle, of lymph, of everything. Of heart, of everything. So blood, nerve, and lymph has always been my three focuses, to clean the blood, the lymph, and enhance the nervous system. So I have been adding the brain formula, brain and nerve in there a little early, and that's because I think the nervous system, like you do, literally controls everything. And that's obvious that it does. And then people's adrenals are down, the nervous system's down. So absolutely, we're right on the top of it with our thinking. Would herbs such as those in the brain and nerve form benefit in moving lymph? That's what I think. That's exactly what I think. And I think also with the nervous system in the kidneys itself as well. But that's why the adrenals are on top, right? That's why activity promotes epinephrine and norepinephrine. Relaxation promotes dopamine and acetylcholine. Activity promotes less elimination. Relaxation, more elimination. That's why relaxation has always been a big key to getting well. That's why when you're sick, you just go to bed. Relaxation, better elimination. Activity, less elimination, because you need that energy to the muscles for your activity. Then you relax after the activity, and then elimination takes place. Simple, obvious stuff. And that's what I mean about awareness. You sit back and you observe, and you put it together. You put one and one. Chad, you're a good guy to do that. Shows your spirituality here. How did the circulation formulas fit into this process? Well, I think in bringing oxygenated blood to tissue also helps to neutralize acids as well. So oxygenation also helps to reduce inflammation and empowers more energy to cells, especially with the carbon counter to that. So I think all that is key. Blood flow with bringing oxygen and nutrients, alkaline nutrients to the situation for hydration to take place. The enhancing of the nervous system to enhance the activity of blood and nerve, but also the activity of the endocrine glands and the elimination, absolutely, and then the elimination of the lymph itself. I think all these things are vital to that, absolutely. So you're thinking, Chad, you and I are on the same wave channel in that type of thinking, absolutely. As I march down the path to Wellville, I feel that every day I understand how my body works a little bit more. So do I. And as we get deeper in our thinking and we expand and we see where their thinking is and where it's not, it helps to fill in the spaces. Absolutely. It is an amazing journey, and I could not have done... Oh, thanks, my friend. Love you, Chad. You know what? And we couldn't do it without the fruits and our friends the herbs. Sorry. So those are the naysayers. Have fun being a naysayer. But if you really want to participate, strap on the rope or the robe and get on the bull and take a ride. I only have time for a couple more here. Sorry, guys. This is Dan. My name is Dan. I'm 29 from Hamburg, Germany. I brought your book, The Detox Meal Simplified, and I follow you on YouTube. Thanks, my friend. Appreciate it, my friend. And I love the work you do. I'm trying to switch to the frugivore diet, but am fructose, histamine, and lactose intolerant. Well, you know what? I think the most important thing there, Dan, is to get yourself started with the vegetable side, 1 fruit meal a day. If you can tolerate that, find the fruit that you can tolerate right now, because they're so powerful. They're going to initiate a lymphatic response, which we mistake for a histamine response. So really, because you're stirring everything up, so slow down. Do your green drinks, do your greens, and whatever fruit you can deal with, especially in the AM. And your green drinks through the day and maybe a salad at night, or your green drinks through the day, particularly get rid of the salads. And start detoxing on a lower scale first. Get your kidneys, get the herbs for the kidneys, the adrenals, bring up your adrenals so you have a good steroid response. That's why you're seeing such a histamine response, because you have a low steroid response. Get your kidneys filtering, get those adrenals up, get that lymph system moving, and each week you go on this, you'll add more fruit, and you'll be beyond that. I'm telling you, you'll be beyond that. I've seen that a lot in my life. Any tips for me? Yep. Get rid of these. Absolutely. And that's how I would do it. Go slower. Get the herbs, address the issues that you need to, and kick up that way. That's what I would do. The low fruit, sugar fruits have or create histamine in my body. It's really frustrating. Histamine. I've been asking many practitioners from the raw food movement, and they all seem to avoid my question. No, you don't avoid your question. I think the real issue is to go slower and do the vegetable matter first. Detox with vegetables. There is some detox to vegetables. When you're that toxic lymphatically, there is detox with vegetables to a point. Then you'll plateau. When you feel that plateau, like Karen was saying, you'll feel like, I need to get up with more fruit. When you feel that, then you're good to go with more. I would do more with the herbs, like the lymphatics, and I would just do 1 lymphatic, 2 kidneys, get the adrenals up. Get the GI tract clean. Start moving that all this in that manner, and then moving that fruit up little at a time. But start on the lower scale of the foods first, and you'll do well with that then. And you'll move through that, and you'll be okay with that. Go slower. No sin in going slower. But Babe kind of had the same thing. She had to do 3, 4, 5 years on fruit juices before her body could allow her to get to more fruits and more fruits. It's just because she was that lymphatically compromised, the adrenals down that far. But with you picking all these up, you should be good, Dan. I'm going to read one more, guys, and then I'm pretty stuck here. Hello, Dr. Morris. I love your preaching the truth. Oh, thanks. A background on my diet and health history, real quick, before I get to a question. Up until the recent years, I am now 22. Look at that. You guys, all you young people on this side, love you guys. You know what? You're the future. You are the future. And I love you all for taking the time and asking these questions and working yourself out of hellville here in your genetics. You are essential to the future on this rock. And I don't know how to say it enough. I've been told it enough, and I'm just telling you back what I'm told too. And many masters are working with all of you guys and trying to bring you all around to opening the light and opening this consciousness. Now, it's essential because this decay is happening. She's 22. I ate really poorly. Is this male, female? Oh, this is Collin. Colin. I ate really poorly, basically an American diet, lacking in raw foods. I had very bad stomach pains and digestion problems all through high school. That's too bad, isn't it? Too bad, But that is suggesting a pancreatic, liver, GI tract. You're right on there. Along with, excuse me, with these little burps that come on and off that smelled foul. Yeah, you know what? You might have a lot of sulfur in your gut too. You might want to look at your eyes and see if you have orange in your eyes there. Sounds like you might have some sulfur in the gut, like a lot of people, which would cause that problem, that foul little burp, sulfur burp. It could have that, my friend. No doctors could figure it. That's why you want to do the GI broom, the stomach and bowel, the GI broom, and clean that. Get your kidneys filtering. That'll start pulling the lymph. No doctors could figure out what was wrong. That amazes me. Even went to Johns Hopkins, and I'm familiar with Johns Hopkins, where they recommended I eat more because I am naturally skinny. Don't you? Hang on. Don't you find that interesting? John Hopkins, but they're not much better anywhere else. You know, that's not their field. So these questions we ask them, which is vital questions on health, they're just not into the health field. And it's time that they at least acknowledge that. They're sick care, not health care, they're sick care. And they need to acknowledge that. Let's put let the chips fall where the chips be. You know, you are what you are and you're not what you're not. I try to admit when I don't know nothing, I don't know. You know, not one person can know everything. And not one John Hopkins can help everything. But they're involved in pharmaceutical treatment of diseases. And as long as they're involved in that, they'll never know how to help people. That's all there is. I mean, they stabilize people, no question. They've done good work and helped a lot of people in certain ways. Surgeries are great when you need them. I'm not knocking that. But they're not health care. They don't know how to get people well. They know how to fix stat emergencies and things like that. Let's face it, that's what allopathic medicine is for, is emergencies and surgeries. Excellent for that. You know, and they're good at that. And with some more ads and some more understanding, it can even be better. But in terms of sickness and diseases and things, wrong focus. And therefore, they're a killing machine. They don't understand that people go on and suffer for years. And they don't know because people just don't come back anymore. And they don't realize what they built up out here in the general populace and the amount of disdain they have are getting from the populace because they're not helping and it's costing millions of people all their finances and everything else. It's still not helping them. So, okay, in emergencies, granted. But healthcare, no way. No way. One of the only items I remember them recommending was milkshakes. Oh, crap. I know. Since they are high in calorie, God, I never really liked milkshakes, and even though that was ridiculous at the time, well, I love milkshakes. Holy crap. That's why I have mucus deep in me from when I was growing up. Ugh. I had this very sharp pain in my kidney that hurt more than, see now, kidneys, guys, kidneys. Now, everywhere you turn, kidney, and this is a big problem here. That hurt more than I could ever have imagined. Well, you had a kidney stone. That's what that is. A kidney stone feels like someone hit you upside the testicles with a baseball bat, basically. I just popped another kidney stone, ended up in the ER 3:30 the other morning. Now, I held the pain as long as I could, flushing as long as I could, did the magnesium B6, felt like I broke it up. But, well, I'll tell you, they hurt bad, let me tell you. And I just had kidneys full of stones. You know, my diet growing up was not good. Not good. I didn't know any better till I was 20. And I didn't know any better. No one did. I mean, that's unconsciousness. And that's the problem. That's why when it's better to be conscious than unconscious. That old saying, is it better to know or is it better not to know? And I always say it's better to know no matter what the consequences are. My doctor said I was backed up and that was causing the pain. Backed up in what way, see? Even ever since that day, I decided I need to avoid being backed up and every day made a green smoothie in the morning to get fiber. Banana or pear, kale, chard, spinach, flax, blueberry, strawberries. I have had no issues since starting the smoothies. Yeah, and that's, you know how beautiful that is. It's self-perpetuating. You start on raw, you feel better. You get up on fruits, you feel even better. It's just self-perpetuating. So good job there. Good job. But it's driving you there. It's driving you there, but you're a spiritual one. To be your age, you're one of the spiritual guys. You wouldn't even be talking to me and asking me these questions. So it's driving you to awaken. And that's what this does. We either awaken or we suffer, right? Currently, I am eating mostly fruit, no dairy, no meat, no breads, almost no sweets. Good job, man. Once in a while, I will have a cookie from a local bakery. So what? I do too. The only cooked food I eat, matter of fact, that sounds real good right now. I've been so doing these little things. You mango. Too bad. I'm going to show you some mangoes here. I've got to go down to Pine Island and get them. I'm going to show you some mangoes. And I want to watch you guys jewel. These are little babies. Let me show you. This is a baby mango. Let me show you some real mangoes. Yeah. All right. The only cooked food I eat is chili or soup, usually with beans. That'll kick your butt, but if you do it once in a blue moon, you know, that's what you do. But don't do too much of that one if you want to get well. particularly, that's got to hit your kidneys. I juice twice a day, orange juice in the morning, cucumber juice with other herbs and veggies. You're doing good, man. I'm real proud of you. You're doing good. Sometimes a carrot apple juice. I eat a lot of watermelons, grapes, and bananas. Oh, this guy's got it down. Also, a few months ago, I did parasitic cleanse. I have cystic acne. Yeah, well, you're doing what you need to do to get to that. Remember, you get those kidneys filtering, then you start cleaning subcutaneously. It'll clean, get the bowels cleaned up. I have had for a really long time the acne that can take over a month to go away. Yeah. But you know what? Even if it appears to get worse as you're cleaning because you're expectorating instead of suppressing, okay, well, just keep working. It's like the lady with the smelly hair. Even though you're going to go through a little time where things are going to get more smelly or worse, you're going to come out on the tunnel on the other side because you understand why and what you're doing to find that remedy. So you're going to get your remedy, but you might have some ups and downs, with that. I have had, the acne that can, I have noticed that after dropping meat, mostly ate chicken, the majority of my acne has disappeared. How interesting. Did you see that on the news 2 nights ago? That eating red meat increases breast cancer 25%. Red meat, 25%. Other meat's only about 15%. Red meat, 25% increase in breast cancer. Why? What is it about red meat? Couldn't be the protein that damaged the kidney meat, which controls the lymph system, which backs up and creates tumors. Couldn't be that. Yeah. But for those paleo thinkers out there, enjoy the red meat all you want, if that's the life you want to live. Majority of acne has disappeared, but not all yet. Well, you can keep digging in. Keep digging in, my friend. I expected 3 months or less to be acne-free based on the results so far. Good job. Keep cleaning. Keep getting those kidneys opened up. Keep opening that up. The questions. For a long time, I've had this skin condition where my skin creates red, itchy splotches all over my upper body after a shower or exercise outside. Well, you're just promoting elimination. You're just promoting lymph flow. That's all. You're just seeing the ebb and tides of lymph flow. That's all it is. Some splotches have a little bump near the center. Well, you get those little pustulas and everything else. You know what? It's just acid. It's just your lymph system, and you're promoting different movements of that. Exercise promotes lymph flow. Heat promotes lymph. Sweating promotes, all that. You're just seeing that. These splotches occur a few minutes after leaving the shower and remain until they fade, 15 to 30 minutes later. Yeah, that's all. Is this a form of fungus that I have to deal? Well, you know what? I would always go, someone that has heavy lymph problems is always going to have a fungus. So definitely wanted to use a parasitic formula for a while and kill that. But keep moving lymph and filter that out, because even if you did have fungus, that's going to clean it right out with it. It's going to go out with the mess. It's going to go out with the sewage. The second question has to do with a reaction my mom had to carrot apple juice. I was not there at the time she made it. She just juiced a lot of carrots with few apples, so the juice was primarily carrots. She drank a 18-ounce glass of the juice. That's quite a lot. Her eyes puffed up and her throat swelled up, sending her into a panic. She went to the emergency room and got sterile. Yeah, she had an anaphylactic shock. Now, I don't know whether there was pesticides on that. Excuse me. I can't say white carrot juice would do that. To be honest with you, it's not really an overly, I fasted a lot on carrot juice in my life. So that was the today. Remember, we talked about that before. So I don't know. I don't know, but I'll tell you this. It sounds like your mom needs to detoxify and get her adrenals up and detoxify her system and clean it up a little bit. I'm just wondering if you think she was allergic to the carrots, or if there was some reaction, like she could have had some pesticides in there. It could have been something in the apples. If she juiced the seeds in the apples, it could have been the arsenic in the apple seeds. It could have been anything like that. So I don't know what to say about that. I would probably start detoxifying her real slow with the vegetables and everything, get her adrenals or kidneys going and things like that, and get away from carrot juice and stuff like that. Do the apple juice, but without the apple seeds, things like that. But apples are real strong at moving lymph, but that's an anaphylactic shock more than what she had. And there could have been chemicals on either one. I don't know what to say about it, but there are arsenic in apple seeds, so you have to be careful if you're juicing the seeds and everything else in there. She could be neurotoxic. It could be anything like that. I'm not sure if this matters, but the carrots were juicing carrots, very large carrots. Her diet is not the best, as she still eats everything, but is getting more fruit in her diet. That's what I would do, Colin, and work that way with her, and see how you do with her there. We did pretty good today, guys. thank you all for your gifts of love. And let me extend my love 100% to each and every one of you. I'm always here for you. And we've got a lot of friends helping us. So enjoy the ride. Don't get mentally confused. Don't let that enter into you, because from some of you who've never been through all this, something sounds new, like David Wolf. You know, he's a raw food, raw will do, just nothing but raw. But now, oh look, supplements, digestive enzymes, and that's what happens to the best of you. So be real careful. Been through all of that myself, and just so here to help you not to go through that. It's just, these are no-brainers. You guys are proving on yourself, and you guys on Facebook, special love to each and every one of you guys. Thank you. And thank you for all your thanks of love, and thanks for that, Jermaine, you little sneaky girl, you. And love you all, guys. May the blessings be to every one of you.